name's Randy Robertson, and I'm just going to tell you briefly my story. And I'm going to preface this with I get emotional sometimes, and if that happens, I apologize. Since my surgery, it's my wife, my daughter. So, I was diagnosed in March with stage 4 bile duct cancer, and I had a surgery at Hopkins called the Whipple procedure. And they tore out my bile duct and my gallbladder, my small intestine, part of my liver, part of my pancreas, part of my stomach. And they told me I might be cured. It was cool. I mean, I had the surgery, you know? So I'm scheduled for chemo, and my weight keeps dropping. And I'm down to 147 pounds. So we had a scan just to make sure the cancer hadn't returned. And it had. It metastasized to my liver, to my lungs, and I was done. I decided I didn't want to be done. I decided 2% chance to live wasn't good enough for me. I decided normal protocol with a 98% chance of death is not cool. I wanted to live. I have children. I have a wife. I have a family. I'm a taxpayer. My mother prayed. Someone came to my door. I hadn't seen him in 15 years. He said, "I heard you need the oil." I had no idea what he was talking about. Oil. The hell are you talking about? Magic shit. I tried it. What did I have to lose? I'm gonna die. I got up the next morning and I'd been on morphine, oxycodone, and all the other stuff I had to take. The Zofran for my stomach. It was a drawer full of medicine like this. I wanted to take a shower. I wanted to walk my dog. I had hope. I felt good. I stopped taking the poison. I stopped taking the morphine. I stopped taking the oxycodone. I stopped taking the Zofran, the Regulin, the Ativan, Tramadol. I mean, it just went on forever. I didn't stop taking it because I wanted to. I stopped taking it because I didn't need it. I got my first scan. All the cancer in my lungs was gone. I'm going to tell you that one more time. I got my first scan. All the cancer in my lungs was gone. Who would keep this from people? Who? Why? All the cancer in my liver, all the tumors resolved. All the tumors that had not resolved had shrank, and all the tumors that were micro, small tumors remained the same. They had never seen a scan like that in their lives. At Johns Hopkins. So you see my before and my after on my poster. I'm here to tell you my story. I'm telling you it works. That's it, you know. Thank you.
That was Randy Robertson. Rest in peace, my friend. Welcome to the SativaCross.com podcast here at Chris Christie's office every Thursday. And I listen to that speech every time and I get teary-eyed because it just... Guy fighting for his life, man. Fighting for his family, to keep himself alive for his family. He's not even worried about himself, he's worried about his family. One out of 10. 1 out of 10. I guess the same metric would be the same for Pennsylvania. I guess 1 out of 10 patients will die.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. They have a better law than we do.
If they have a better law, less would die. And I don't mean because it's more or less effective. It's just the threshold for what you have to get in the program is more realistic. You know, an interesting phrase when talking about medical marijuana in New Jersey is you have to have failed other common therapies first before being able to try cannabis. You have to have failed. But nobody talks about what does that mean, fail?
It means dying?
In some cases it means dying. In some cases it means having operations, things done to you that cannot be reversed, missing parts of your body or your colon or
your
something.
Brain.
And they could say, well, on the bad side, the bad news is the operation failed and you're going to be missing part of your colon. The good news is that failure gets you one more failure closer to getting cannabis. You know what? Can you imagine that? It's like you got to take 3 punches first before you get anything. And you know it. So what do? You hope it fails quick, I guess, you know.
Well, remember Chuck Kwiatkowski? He says he was lucky to have MS.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people too.
I'm lucky I have MS, so I can get my cannabis.
For what his real problem is, and that was fused vertebrae in his neck or something.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty painful. And that happens all over the couple of veterans who regularly testify at committee hearings and show up, are medical cannabis patients for intractable musculoskeletal spasticity due to injury.
Yes, that's me.
But they, also could have post-traumatic stress. So they're in a position of saying, well, it's lucky for me that I had this injury. Otherwise, I couldn't treat my post-traumatic stress legally. And, for some, the difference between legally and not legally treating it now is with the VA being okay with people who are legal in their home state as a medical marijuana patient. They can have cannabis in their system, and it won't mess with their pain management contract with the VA or their pain meds there. So that's, people say, well, why not just do it? Well, if you're a veteran, that's one reason why not, because the other pain management services they give you can be effective. Oddly enough, with cannabis, they're more effective. So
yeah,
they in the past like to make sure you were out of their pain management umbrella.
Yeah, I found that.
Ass backwards.
Yeah, I found it to be ass backwards, but I do find that I took less opiates when I used cannabis.
Yeah.
But my doctor wasn't for that. My doctor wanted me to take those opiates. He didn't want me to take cannabis.
Why do you think that was?
Maybe because the girl with the short skirt that comes in there peddling drugs every week to him. The drug companies send these really pretty girls with short skirts in there, and they had a girl in there about every time I was in there. There was always a girl, and they brought a hot guy in case they're depending on their sexuality, they brought a hot guy.
Hot
and a
by
hot
what?
girl.
Your standards?
I could tell a hot guy and a hot girl.
Thank you.
I could tell. You're pretty hot, Jim. I'm just saying. So yeah, there was always these people in the doctor's office peddling their drugs to these doctors. Of course, you're not going to say no. He's giving you free trips to Vegas. Come on, you're going to say no to that?
You know, it's the fact that the pharmaceutical industry is such an incredibly powerful lobby
And hot.
that their power and the resources they have to do business where we don't see them do business is pretty immense.
Yeah.
And we can't compare. You know, now what we have, though, is because we can't donate money and we can't give people perks. We operate on the relativity principle that we can take away. We can do cone damage to you.
Cone damage.
You know, and it takes a certain amount of PR cognizance to counteract that. And if they do even one thing to counteract it, or get asked one question, or maybe somebody saw News 12 last week where they did a story about the cones.
You talking about Governor Christie?
Yeah.
His name is Governor Christie.
And the other new word is he runs the state as a bullyocracy.
Ah, okay.
You know, but that power is fading. And you know, being as we don't have like a standard order of things to talk about, one thing runs into another.
Well, check this out. We almost got arrested twice this morning, Jim.
Twice this morning.
Twice this morning. It's 11:30. We almost got arrested twice already. What the hell?
That's pretty good. So why don't you fill us in? Because you know, I only got the briefest of versions.
We went to go support the Weed Man.
Where?
The Weed Man is down at the courthouse, Mercer County. Yeah, we went to the wrong courthouse first. We went to the one catty corner across the street. I go inside, and I say, I want to smoke my weed here. And they're like, no, you can't smoke weed here. This is a state building. I'm like, well, there's people out there smoking tobacco. Isn't it covered by the Clean Air Act? He's like, no.
You're talking to state police then?
State police in a state building. And he says, no, you cannot smoke your weed here.
Does he call it weed? He's not allowed to call it weed. No, he's not.
I have to review the tape, but he said some weird word.
He's not allowed to call it weed. You can call it whatever you want.
So he told me I could not use my cannabis there, and we couldn't take pictures there either, which he told 2 lies, 2 fibs. We couldn't take pictures and smoke weed. What did we do, Jim? He sat down and took pictures
and
smoked
weed.
Now the sergeant sent out 2 rookies.
How far away were you from the door?
They're watching us through the window.
Okay, they could see you.
And I was hiding behind a statue at first because I was afraid.
That's gotta hurt.
I was afraid.
That really has to hurt, but they didn't know you were afraid.
I was afraid.
Yeah,
I was shaking.
They didn't know that.
No.
Well, what were you afraid of?
My whole life I've been afraid, and I can't get over it.
Yeah, because you're holding all the cards. Think what happened. I mean, just think what happened. Here's a guy who came up with all the authority that he had, told you what you could and couldn't do,
right.
And you said, well, you're wrong, I'm going to do it anyway. You know, you were like, my friend had a deaf cat, and one time I saw 2 dogs walking up the road, you know, just walking up the road, and the cat was out in the front yard, and the dogs, but Undercat couldn't hear them, and you know, he went meow and went prancing over to play or say hi, and they really dug in, you know, and barked louder, and this cat just kept coming, and then they trotted the other way. They left. That's what you are. You're like that deaf cat. You show up, they give you orders, they do this all the time, and it always works out until you say this. Now, they're not going out is the most cowardly response I can imagine. You know, that's kind of like, one of them moments that they could not handle that.
Well, he sent out 2 of his subordinates.
Yeah.
And he said to us, he says, are you New Jersey residents? Our first question, are you New Jersey residents?
Yeah.
I said, of course, yes, sir. Because obviously, if I'm not a New Jersey resident, I can't even have a medical marijuana card. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm a New Jersey resident.
Good one.
And I had my bong in my hand, I believe, at that point. And he said, do you have a card for that? I said, yes. Showed him my card. And everything was cool. They were very nice.
Caught with your bong hanging out and nothing went on.
Nothing happened. But I was scared. I was nervous.
Yeah, that's a natural reaction, I would be guessing, but you're holding all the cards. Any kind of arrest would so come back to haunt them. It would pretty much end your tour because it would be so on display then. Don't you think, really, how can I talk you into doing this? Give up a little bit of time towards getting something together that you can turn into the state attorney general's office, especially about how you almost got arrested by state police. You did assert your rights. You weren't arrested, but they're being heavy-handed at trying to coerce you into giving up your rights as a patient. Now, if the governor's going to keep saying, and he's been saying even this week, this is a medical program. That's why there's so few people. It's a truly medical program, not like the others where anybody can get it. Well, if it's a truly medical program, Governor, then why not stick up for these sick people that this medicine is supposed to get to? And instead of not working with us and making us come here every week because we don't have a seat at the table, you know, everybody get on the same page here. Because if this is a man that thinks he might be capable of being Attorney General of the United States, and he doesn't have an Attorney General as the chief executive officer of New Jersey or whatever he likes to think himself as, his Attorney General here can't get this simple job done to get police to understand, as his boss says, this is a medical program. So police, and where were you then? You were at the state police where?
At the Mercer County courthouse. There was two courthouses across the street from each other. We were at the wrong one, apparently.
Yeah, but you're a patient. It doesn't matter if they like that or not or don't understand. They have to understand it. And how many state police barracks or outposts do you have to go to find out that in fact they don't know, and what they do know? It's time, and dump it back in the Attorney General's lap. I brought this up at the coalition meeting and suggested that we should strongly support and be perhaps the ones to petition the Attorney General to do his job. But we need to give him something, just jump takes, one after the other, just something to view,
Here we go. This should be good.
Is this it?
Yeah, this is the state trooper that just harassed me.
Inside the building.
Okay.
Okay? The
All right,
outside of the building, if you start taking a picture of the outside, we're going to ask you to leave.
Okay.
Okay? There is a monument over there. You can take a picture of the police monument.
Okay.
But outside of the building, that's a no.
Okay.
Also.
What about the smoking area? Where am I? Working?
Smoking area is right here.
Oh, right here.
Right here.
Okay. All right. I'm a medical marijuana patient. I got to be careful of the parameters I have to follow. So.
Okay.
All right.
You are not allowed to smoke on government property.
This is government property.
This is government property.
Okay. Oh, federal.
No, state government property.
This is state property.
State property. Okay, you cannot smoke on state property. On any building, at any location.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
That's not true at all. That's not true.
Where can you smoke here? We're on state property here now. Where are we? We're not allowed to smoke right here.
Well, because there's no smoking sign.
Yeah, no smoking.
This is like too close to an entryway.
Well, if there was a receptacle, yeah.
Yeah, Cleo, get on the mic.
If there's a receptacle, then yeah, it's.
What the hell happened? There's no mic here. All right, never mind.
Excuse me.
I don't know what happened to that mic. It's not working.
Yeah, it's not working. So
here, let me
So
play.
state-
Okay, but they're using tobacco over here. That's okay to use tobacco?
Yes, yes. Well, I'm talking about the marijuana.
I'm just confused because isn't it covered by the Clean Air Act? New Jersey Clean Air Act?
I would have to look that one up. I would have to make a phone call on that one. But I'm pretty sure that I know for a fact any state building have certain locations, such as parks. You can't smoke in a
Right.
public area. This is considered a public smoking area.
Right.
It's state.
It's not a recreational
State
area,
building.
though.
It's not a recreational
It's not
area.
a park. It's not a school.
No, it's not.
It's a smoking area for people to use tobacco recreationally. And I want to use my medicine to save my life. Shouldn't that take priority over somebody who's just using tobacco for fun?
Are you going to get into an argument with me?
No,
I'm
no.
saying no.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
of course not.
Have a good day.
Are you going to
What's
get
your name,
into
sir?
an argument with me?
Sorry, Hector? Exter. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What's his name?
Exter?
Exter? The X-Man.
And then,
Exter.
And then as we're sitting here,
Yeah, I want to smoke. I have to go. I have
I'm
to go
sitting
all
here
the way
yelling
there.
about, my rights being violated. And when do the cops come
Dude,
back?
I'm stressed now.
The
Now
ones
I'm
that they
stressed.
sent out.
Oh, I think,
It's bullshit. This is bullshit.
whoops.
I have to-
all right, let's find the other. So yeah, we almost got arrested twice.
Yeah, so, and that was earlier today.
Yes. Yeah, about 2 hours ago. Yeah, ain't that something?
And yet you can come here to the State House, which is about as state property gets, where the state troopers here recognize that this is your right, and they have you go across the street, and you do.
Here's the second time I almost got arrested. This is good.
Hold it. Give me. We got this.
I'm smoking my bong out in front of the courthouse to support Ed Fortune, as I'm allowed to under
Which
Kuma.
one? It's a bomb.
And here
Bomb.
comes
It's a bomb.
the sheriff.
There you go.
How you doing, sir? Good. How are you? Good.
Oh, you're right there.
Am I allowed to smoke cannabis here?
Are you?
Yeah. No? Where do I have to go? Where's the border? Yeah.
The border between here and
So I
Sanityville.
can smoke on the city street then? You're telling me I can smoke weed here?
Wait, I'll be right.
Where's the smoking area?
Not good.
Wait.
I need some help here.
All right. Hold it.
Let's replay this. This is
We
interesting.
got this.
You can stop and explain when
Yeah,
you
we-
need to, because
Yeah, we're smoking weed again. Okay, we're smoking, trying to light the bong.
Which one?
It's very windy.
It's a bomb. Bomb. There you go.
Hold on, I'm sorry. All right,
you
here he
doing,
comes.
sir? Good.
Hello. How's it going?
Am I allowed to smoke cannabis here?
Are you?
Yeah. No? Where do I have to go? Where's the border?
Where's the border?
Yeah.
You're outside on the city street.
So I can smoke on the city street then? You're telling me I can smoke weed here? Where's the smoking area? It says no smoking in this area. I'm 25 feet from the building, right?
Approximately 45.
How many feet do I have to be?
25.
25?
It's 25.
25, so I have to be over here? Just tell me where to go. I'll be fine.
Through my guidelines, it's 25 feet.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? I just want to medicate. I need to smoke this like right now, sir.
where do you want to go?
ID on you?
Sure.
Hurry up.
Of course. I always. Are you kidding me? I got this card. I got this to protect me from you. This card isn't for nothing. No medical use. It's to protect me from you guys. That's why I got the card. Because you will throw me on the ground and arrest me for that if I didn't have that card. So, or if I was black, or
I don't know if anybody ever said anything about you being black or throwing you on the ground.
No, we seen it. So it doesn't.
yeah, we see it on the internet all the time.
We see it on the internet.
You got a license?
But he was cool.
Yeah, they actually make those.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I heard. They're saying that.
Your hair growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. They let us go after that.
Yeah. When
So what are they gonna do to us? I mean,
you guys
really.
start smoking weed, you'll see your hair starts growing. You'll see. You'll see.
I like to shave mine.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you. Have a
they
nice
were
day.
cool. They were fine.
But that should be the Attorney General's office that has his state police. You know, it's one thing when it's municipality by municipality, but this is the state police we're talking about.
Yeah.
They have to know. They have to be very clear. This should be part of their continuing education in some way, shape, or form, and it's not. So I just think as official as possible to petition to have the state attorney general do his job. And he was the acting attorney general before, so he wasn't acting real well, but last week he became a non-acting attorney general. So maybe he's just a bad actor, but now he has to actually do his job, so. And there's the tie-in. You know, we got to be like 1 degree of separation from Christie as a matter of national interest for it to generate any real concern here. Although the cones were on TV News 12 last week.
I saw that. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, you know, I like the explanation. You know, what do the cones signify? And it's, well, it signifies it gets people's attention. once we got their attention, then we tell them we're here for post-traumatic stress being added to the list of acceptable indications. Yeah, it's the shiny thing that draws them in. It's the carnival barker, trying to get people over. It's the Collins. Step right this way. Just do so within the boundaries of the foot traffic study, please.
So we had a busy week. We also went to Jersey City the other day. And Jersey City was very interesting. Jersey City police could give no Fs about us smoking cannabis out in front of their police station. 15 police walked past us as we were smoking our bongs and our joints, just walked past us like we were just like, whatever, who cares? The police were inside were great. It was a great experience.
Jersey City.
I wish Patterson was like that. Patterson, we did not get the same welcome at all. At all.
Very intimidating they were.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Jersey City here. I have Jersey City right here. This is great. These guys are so nice. At first, we asked the one rookie cop. He's like, "You want to smoke marijuana out here? Huh? What?" It's like, Sarge, they want to smoke marijuana out here. Sarge is like, "It's okay. It's okay. Kuma."
Yeah.
Watch this. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Outside in the smoking section, 25 feet from the front of the door. Oh, here you go.
You hear that? You hear that, Sarge? Get a load of this, Sarge.
Film this?
25 feet from the door where the policemen smoke their cigarettes. It's in the Puma laws. Here's a Puma laws. I can show you exactly where it's at if you'd like.
You need to carry a tape with you.
Yeah.
A measuring tape.
We don't
Oh.
want to go outside and meditate. We're in the neighborhood. We're actually sightseeing. If you want to do water, it's right
We're
here.
sightseeing. Carol says we're sightseeing.
And,
I guess we were.
I'm rather nauseous at the moment.
Can't prove we're not.
So do you have the proper ID card
Yeah,
and all that?
yeah, give her my-
Just as
give
long
her
as
my card.
everything's in order, you'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, good. So,
We don't like to just go out and clear smoke.
yeah.
That's fine, I actually applaud that.
We'd rather know.
Vote of confidence.
He applauds us doing this. So there you go.
He says he applauds. His hands weren't busy then. I know what applause when I hear one, but I appreciate him saying that.
I like this guy. Brian Hunt is his name.
Yeah, that's nice that he would offer that opinion while on duty. Many would say, "Well, I can't really comment," and they'll smile and wink or something.
I guess he's on duty, but he's not really dressed for duty.
No, he's replying in an official capacity. He's working.
Yeah, he is.
He's so high up he doesn't even have to wear a uniform. Every day is casual Friday for him.
He's the boss.
Yeah, man. He's the cool guy.
Yeah, he's the answer man. We like this guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everything was explained to you. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, we don't deal with this on a daily basis.
Right.
You're not
You know?
the first, by the way.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're not the first officer.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't deal with it too much at all, to be quite honest with you.
But are you aware of the laws at all, or rights, and what we can and what we can't do?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you got this,
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
What Carol's contention is, the officers, when they say they don't know Kuma, they seem to know what we can't do. But they have no idea what we can do. They say they don't know the law, but they know we can't do this and we can't do that. But yet, what can we do? Well, we smoke it in your home. So that's the answer we get, smoke it in your home. That's what we can do. If you don't know Kuma, we can smoke it in our home. Okay.
you're fine, and it's packaged properly.
Right.
Correct.
Your police chief gave you all these rules? Because a lot of times the police chief isn't giving the guidelines to their officers, and the officers don't know about the law.
They put them out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not something we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, quite rarely, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Are we the first?
You know?
Yeah. For
Pretty
sure.
much, yeah.
Okay.
Quite rarely.
All right.
We're the first.
Well, thank
A
you.
lot of times, if officers approach you, make sure you show your ID cards.
Right.
That's the big thing. You got to have your ID cards.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's the proper amount. I know that, and it has to be in the proper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't walk around with
Yeah, we just
I
got
don't know.
a couple of joints is good.
If there's any doubts, you show your ID
Yeah.
cards, and you just ask for a supervisor.
Okay.
Now, there was some question about whether you need your card, whether you need your jar. You
What-
do.
yeah.
You do. You really do. I mean, I wouldn't leave the house without my card or my jar.
It's the same as driving privileges. You know,
Yeah.
you must have it with you.
Yeah.
A copy of your registration insurance must be with you.
You know.
So, you know, I would think in that case, yeah, they got to be able to identify you. That you belong in the program.
They can call the state police. They can call the Rock. Yeah, they can do that. But, you know, if you're ignorant and you don't agree with the law, you're not going to make those calls.
Well, then, in a worst-case scenario, it would seem like that would just be failure to have within your possession. It wouldn't have any real ramifications, you know. I would think not really.
Yeah.
So you got any prospects for almost getting arrested later today, or?
Yeah. You want to get arrested later, guys? Joanne and Karen are here. You guys want to get arrested with me? Karen's down. She's always down. We almost got arrested at the courthouse before, Karen. Yeah. You were in Jersey City with us. How did you think it went in Jersey City? Were you happy with how it went?
You're talking to somebody who doesn't have a microphone.
Yeah, she's coming over. I'm trying to get her over here because I want to talk to you, Karen. We don't get you on the podcast enough. Get up on that mic. Get up on there.
Get on up.
Yeah, you can pull it towards you. There you go. Well, not that much.
Get on up.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Lefty.
How are you, dear?
I'm good. I'm good.
Cool.
I was productive today, holding my signs out in front of Superior Court.
I saw that.
A
Supporting
little
Ed.
overheating.
Yeah, it was hot out there.
Yes, yes.
You did good.
Thank you. Got interviewed by Chasing the News.
Chasing New Jersey was there. Vice TV was there. Some other, I have his card, was there. Some other guy.
Told them about my 1-year anniversary being off morphine and
Nice.
how the joint helped me,
Yes.
my family, my joint family. So, but anyway, Jersey City was amazing.
Wasn't that something?
I've never encountered police like that ever. I really still believe that we were in an alternate universe.
It was weird. What a difference between there and Patterson, huh?
It's all relative, but what you're describing is normalcy.
Well,
That's
see,
what
I
should
guess
that's
I
what
have never
should
seen
be
it.
normal.
Right.
And the fact that it is so abnormal makes it seem like a gift of some kind.
Yeah.
But basically, he was just being affable about doing his job.
And he was really nice, and he looked in each one of us in our eyes and talked to us directly. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, you could use that, Lefty, as how it should go. If you got something together that we need to get to the Attorney General's office and say, this is a good example of how it should happen.
Okay, here's one. Remember Highlights magazine? Goofus and Gallant. We'll do the police version of Goofus and Gallant. How's that?
Is that kind of like Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
Well, you are definitely Butthead.
Gallant follows Kuma. Goofus arrests and beats the patient.
But the police there were, they knew what they were talking about.
Yes.
Even though they said they haven't encountered it, which I find unbelievable that they haven't encountered medical marijuana. I'm sure
may
they've
have had people
encountered.
encounter it, and it just doesn't warrant a report.
Yeah.
So there's no reports of successful interactions. You get the other kind. But it is somewhat the way it should be. It doesn't need to be an adversarial position that the police take when they're
But they always take it,
guard.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
used to my
Yeah,
whole
but
life.
the
So.
knee-jerk reaction is where it starts. If they start with that knee-jerk reaction as if you're doing something wrong, trying to gain the authority level that they feel they deserve,
Right.
that's where, when you bitch slap them nicely, it makes it even worse for them, and then they get more unreasonable. But that is the demonstration you want. You want video of you just saying nicely, we got these rights. You tell us where, and we'll tell
Yeah.
you what we know. And we'll
Well,
do
I
it.
like the video when it's not nice too.
Well, that's the example.
we could
Of,
put
that's
them
the
in their
example of the
place.
Attorney General not doing his job.
That's a huge
and there's
example.
There's enough now. You can go. The time that you're going to take doing the next couple of these is time that you might want to almost instead put into getting something together for the Attorney General, because that is the point. You're that far down the field.
Yeah.
You know, you can make that play now. Another 5 police stations is not going to make it any better, unless you got a really good one. You know, as an
Yeah,
example.
but we educate the police, and it might be making it better for someone who's going to get stopped one day, and maybe he's going to remember Puma.
It will, but it's ultimately the Attorney General's responsibility to see this all the way downhill
Right.
through the state police, sheriff's departments, all local police municipalities. They
You're
need
right.
they need to have some sort of supervision going
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
I mean,
I didn't think of it that way.
That's absolutely missing. So there's enough to get it going to that point, but what I'm saying is whatever that goes to the state attorney general's office should be like already on YouTube where anybody can see it, because that's what works. They're seeing all this is instantly available, and here's the request
Right.
that, we make it part of the continuing education cycle. What's the plan? And that you volunteer to help.
Yeah.
That you've got all the evidence that'll show that you definitely need to do it through the state attorney general's office.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that, sir? You got a question about marijuana? What's your question? We're doing a podcast. Come on, ask your question. You can ask it.
He's done.
No, okay, he's done. Okay.
I think he asked where the bathroom was.
Where's the best, or the best bathroom is?
Let's play telephone.
Either the library or the museum.
Yeah.
They clean them all the time.
Yes, Dunkin' Donuts down the street.
Well, yeah, actually, the store across the street, they have good turkey sandwiches. The good bathroom over there too.
And
Just saying.
and if you wanted to have a turkey sandwich at the cafeteria in here, that's well enough reason for walking in here.
Oh, you can go in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
No,
know
yeah,
that.
the cafe. I'm gonna meet somebody in the cafeteria, whatever. That'll get you in,
Do
and
they
then you
still-
walk right
I'm
by
sorry.
bathrooms on the way down there.
Do they still do tours?
Yes.
I want to do a tour.
A bathroom tour?
No, the tour of the State House.
yeah.
I haven't been here
Oh,
since
Christie's
they
probably doing the
remodeled
bathroom.
it. That's a long time. A long time.
What's really nice is when you're in the basement area where I go to get permits and where the cafeteria is. And
Oh, they send you to the basement, Jim?
No, this is where you want to be.
Oh, okay.
Because also the Senate Majority's office is there, the Minority's office are there. Tom Kane has an office there with
Oh,
Senator
wow.
Diane Allen.
Very
So
cool.
it's all there. That means that Philippe and me and Ken and a couple others passed by the Senate Minority Leader, Tom Kane, and Philippe was in his uniform, and we had a very nice discussion just because the hallways are kind of narrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting by anybody down there. So you never know who you're going to run into.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like it down there. You can just go eat, just sit in the,
I had no idea.
yeah.
Nobody ever told me that, so.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to see there.
But anyway, Jersey City was beautiful. The day was beautiful. It was just a happy day, right?
It was great.
It was a great day. I got amazing photos. We had fun. We walked a little too much.
Yeah, we
but-
did walk a lot.
Yeah, but it was just so breezy and beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels good for me to do that, something like that.
Yeah, I'll
You
bet.
know, I've been in the house with my back for a long time. To do stuff like this again, it's amazing.
It was nice to smoke at the Freedom Tower. Like we were smoking,
Yes,
enjoying our freedom, looking at the Freedom Tower.
yes.
Wow.
It was amazing. Really was. Thank you.
Did you
Lefty.
get a picture
you.
with that as a backdrop?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Tons of them.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. You girls. I'm sorry. You girls are the best. I'm saying girls. Jeez. No, you girls are the best. I want girls more than guys on the tour now. 'Cause
Oh, and
you-
we forgot to go back.
Us Leos don't get it, man. All right.
We forgot to go back for the
I'll
blackjack
hear the
thing.
replay, see what's going on.
yeah. I mean, Carol is amazing. Cleo is always amazing. Karen, you're amazing.
Aw.
Joanne, where were you? What
Lefty,
happened to you?
You're amazing too,
Oh,
Lefty.
so Joanne's working. Okay. You're coming with us next week. Want to go to Patterson next week? Okay. Clifton, Patterson, do the border thing, and Buy
Don't you
Burkers,
live
whatever.
right there? Doesn't she live right
yeah,
over
don't
there?
you- yeah. I want to go burqa shopping.
So
I do. I'm not
do-
kidding.
Do you have pictures with the Freedom Tower like behind you or something?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Okay.
No one wanted to take our picture. No one.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
have people within your group who can take
Yeah,
other
I
people's
have my camera.
picture.
I haven't
Well-
uploaded yet.
Everyone was
Well, I'd like to see them together. Some years back, we put the late great Cheryl Miller in her wheelchair on a boat ride to Statue of Liberty, and
Nice.
it took people carrying it up, and we
Right.
were out doing a thing. But somebody took a picture where the World Trade Center was coming out like from behind, one from behind me and one from behind her.
I know that
So
shot,
if you
yes.
put that up with a
have that.
picture of you in the Freedom Tower,
Yeah, that would be
it
great.
shows how long this has been going on.
Yes.
You know,
I have that
Good
picture.
visual.
I know
yeah.
the picture
You've
you're
seen the
talking
picture.
about. Oh
No,
my
I was just
God.
saying, like,
Well, I got a lot of nice pictures of.
we have no pictures of all of us because everyone was
Yeah,
like,
we're-
"Oh, those medical marijuana patients." We're just gonna go this
Well,
way.
we were
I
getting
have
that
some
back
nice
then. We were
pictures
getting
of
that
all
back
you
then
guys
too.
in front of there, in front of the tower.
I got pictures.
I gotta upload them though.
No one wanted to take
I
our
have
pictures,
about
so
900 pictures I gotta upload.
Me too.
But we wanted to see the Port Authority police.
Yes.
That was our goal, because the Port Authority police are out there with AR-15s, helmets, body armor,
And cones?
and cones. And I want to know, do I need that? Do I need to wear chainmail or something? I mean, what do I need to wear?
And we didn't see any.
Here, what's that? What'd you say?
Is that on? Does that one work?
Oh, shit. We have a problem with our mic here. Really? Hang on, I'll try it again.
Plug it in.
Let's try it again. No, I have a problem with the mic. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was saying that the description you gave is they were actually in full battle rattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what that's
But
called.
why?
No, well, that's the $1 million question.
Intimidation.
What was the purpose of the of
flexing.
that? I mean, everything
Trying
is,
to,
yeah, just like-
when you in those type of situations, it's psyops, and so when you, for a lot of people in the general public to see that, they get a sense of they feel safe.
Oh, no, I feel the
no.
opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to have a gun.
No. I'm saying that's what the thinking is.
Oh.
Now whether they're right is a totally different subject, and they're not, but that's the idea that a lot of people feel safe when they see, people in authority, law enforcement, in full battle rattle. So if anything was to go down, and someone decided they wanted to shoot up the place, well, we got our guy here.
Well, we
who's-
know exactly
Yeah.
which
But
way
you
to
know what?
point.
I don't
It's
feel
like-
safe with them there
No,
like
No,
that.
I don't either. I don't like that.
Yeah,
What's
and
funny
that's
That
is,
doesn't make me
yeah,
feel
it doesn't.
safe.
Yeah, whoever thought
That-
that up,
Yeah.
did a terrible job in thinking, and whoever.
But I'm sure
co-signed
there's
it.
a lot of people that do feel safe. They think they're safe, but
Right.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's a lot of people who they like that type of stuff.
yeah.
It's called
And
Christie.
not fully understanding or grasping what it actually really does to an individual,
Right.
particularly when you're flooded with so many images on a day-to-day basis,
Yes.
and then you see it in real life, and you're kind of like, if you're not paying, those who are awake or attuned to what's going on.
Yes.
I took like the most like blatant picture this year of it was like 6 Port Authority police officers. They all had AR-15s, tactical, like full helmets, tactical gear.
Oh my God.
and,
Battle rattle.
Yeah, literally battle ready.
you go.
And there was a SWAT truck right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking around like this. You've got to be kidding! Like nobody notices. And just next to them was the guy with the bayonet in his back. And I took like the greatest picture because it's just all these like Port Authority police in full battle gear, and then it's some kid playing Pokemon Go, sitting right on the
So and he didn't even notice.
Yeah,
He didn't
no,
even
no,
notice.
literally
Yeah.
just every society
I mean,
so
what-
blinded.
What's,
Yeah.
Like-
what's,
like if
what's
you-
sadder,
Wow.
that the boy's playing Pokemon and he
Yeah.
doesn't know his surroundings,
It
or
literally-
he saw his surroundings and
And
he's
just
just
ignored
used to
it,
the
yeah.
image. and
Well,
doesn't-
think about this and understand, like those who are in the know. I saw a picture where there was a police substation. That's fine. But on the front of the police substation, instead of it saying substation, you know what they had? Forward operating base.
what?
Forward operating base.
Yes, that's what they called
What
it.
town?
This was in New York.
In New York?
Yeah, they called it a FOB. Well, that's what we call them.
That's
FOBs.
an army
Yeah.
term.
Yes.
Where the hell?
Forward operating base.
Who
and
we
I was
fighting?
like, and I'm just sitting there like,
Yeah.
Who are we
That's-
killing?
Oh my
You go to World Trade
God.
Center.
Who we
Go to
fucking-
World Trade Center right now.
so
There's at least 8.
even when you even when they try
Yeah,
to
I've
sneak
seen
in
him.
the
I didn't know what it was
terminology,
called, though.
Yeah.
we're slowly being fed this new way of life where we're supposed to
Wow.
be okay with it. And I understand something. I see a lot of the, when I look at the equipment and everything like that, like I spent 3 years at Joint Base Balad, all right, which was the largest air base in northern Iraq. And that was where, you know, a lot of the equipment, I would see the MRAPs, I saw everything, the Abrams, everything, the drones,
Nice.
the whole nine. And a lot of the equipment that I saw while I was over there, I see in the inner cities.
Wow.
I see it here, and the way they're being used, and the way they're being, and the thinking behind it, and stuff like that. You know, it amazes me. And one of the things that, you know, nothing for nothing, you know, as Americans, understand that we have the greatest military in the history of the planet.
No matter what Donald Trump says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have the greatest military in the history of the planet. Okay, and so one of the reasons that makes us the greatest is, number one, we're an all voluntary force. That's number one, first and foremost. And number two, it's our ability to control the night. We can conduct operations at night in the exact same way that we
Right.
can conduct operations during the day. Our efficiency is impeccable. It's amazing. And I actually got to watch it. I got a firsthand front row eyewitness to see how it all works. I was even able to participate, like I had, when we redeployed back to Naples, Italy, we had to escort some of the new Iraqi officers who were being trained to take, we had to escort them into Germany so that they can take the next part of their course. And so we stopped off at Ron, at that time it was Ron Mine. Ron Mine was going through its transition, was being closed, but they were still accepting. And so when we stepped off the plane, the look on these cadets' faces when they saw the C5s, the C17s,
Oh, man.
the C130s, you know, and I'm looking at them, and yes, they
can
like,
imagine.
I'm like that.
yeah, they couldn't even, yeah, it was, you know, the look.
And so do you.
I tell you exactly who they look like. They look like the little kids that go to the air shows. And they were just it was unbelievable.
It looks like that meme of Hillary Christie, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and then check this out.
She's like,
yeah, like, you know, and I remember looking at a couple of them, and I was sitting in, because we had to have them segregated while we were waiting for their escort, the rest of their other escort to come over and take them. And I was standing amongst them, and I was looking at them, watching everything. They couldn't get over it, you know, just pointing and, you know, talking in Arabic and talking to each other and pointing at everything. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out what they were saying. Even though I don't know what they're saying, you can pretty much tell. So at a certain point, I just turned and looked at them all, and I said, yeah, that's us. You were trying to figure out how you lost? It was like this.
Oh, wow. You didn't say that, did you?
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Because here's the thing. I knew they didn't understand what I was saying either.
Horrible. That is
They didn't understand.
Leo, come on, man.
I was having a hua hua moment.
all the bombs we dropped on you, that was me.
Yeah,
That's
I
real
was having
nice.
a hua
That's
hua
so
moment.
great.
Yeah, I was having,
hey,
yeah, this
all
is how it
those
happened.
children
Oh, Leo,
This
and
is how
women
it
and
happened.
all the babies that died.
No, let's not go there.
Can we get back to cannabis?
Let's not go there. Oh,
hey,
God.
Cannabis.
No.
Another use Jim Miller.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Today I was
So I'm-
holding signs
I'm
outside
timing it.
for hours.
Yeah. That's
Jim.
exactly how it happened. Yeah.
You know, I'm a pacifist, Leo. I guess I am a
Talk about
pacifist.
all the women and
So,
children that were bombed.
yeah,
Let's go there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, but the thing is that,
Oh,
yeah.
you know, this
Yeah,
was
Here we go.
this was post combat operations. This is after, you know, the commander in chief stood on the Abraham Lincoln and declared victory.
Wait a minute. When Bush flew in on the plane?
Yep.
But they weren't done at that point. They really weren't done.
Well, that was when we were.
Lefty.
What was done was operations against a formal army. You understand what I'm saying? Like a recognized army, a defeated army.
We were
This is
in there
before
for like
insurgency.
Well, I remember that, and I was pissed off because there was no end to that war at that point.
I remember
No,
that
no.
because I was illegally smoking marijuana then, because laws here need to be changed.
Was George Bush smoking cannabis on that plane?
You know,
Yeah, hey, you know,
which brings us to why we're here today.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jim. That's
So
awesome.
much.
Yeah, we were
Thank
getting
you
off.
so
We were getting
much.
off message there for a minute.
A little bit.
I don't mind, though. I don't mind.
No,
So-
you know, it's all in good fun,
So
actually.
Jim, I want to tell you about my 1 year off of morphine.
Yeah, great.
Oh wow!
That's,
Congratulations.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
you.
Go Karen.
That's
Yeah,
big.
I did.
Girl.
Thank you for your leadership.
And
Thank
Seriously,
you.
you're going to help other people now.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
well, it's the story
I
that
did it
should
in
be
cold
told more
turkey.
often.
Yeah.
You know.
Cold turkey with cannabis.
Yes.
Okay.
Doctor
Okay.
wanted to give me all kinds of other stuff to get off it, and
Like what?
I don't know, like
Suboxone?
like psychotic medication.
Or
or
methadone?
something.
Oh, that's
God.
Yeah, and then some other kind of.
Really?
And then I think maybe Suboxone.
Suboxone,
And then he
probably,
said
or
after
Subutex.
I take that, then we have to wean you off of that.
No.
That's why I said no.
But there's more drugs to help with that.
Right. So I
Yeah,
I
but
told
then
him.
you have to get weaned from
Yes.
then.
So I told him, I said, I don't want
you-
anything.
You'll be
He
a
goes,
weenie forever at that rate.
Oh
you know?
my God.
he told me only 1% of people make it the way I want to do it. So I said, all right, I'll see you in a few months. And I walked out, and
Well, the other
did it.
there's something in between, though, and that would be using it as an adjunct medicine and then de-escalating as opposed to cold turkey. If you can go
Well,
cold
listen,
turkey, you know.
I needed, my mind said that was enough, and that was
Yeah.
it.
But
there was
but
all
I'm saying
other
to
kind of
talk
options.
to talk somebody else to that table, you know, the reminder that actually if 1 in 100 do it, and you know,
Yeah.
what if they're exaggerating and it's only 1 in 50?
No,
That's still a
yeah.
large number. I mean, it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter.
When I
the
tell my
actual
story,
number.
I always make sure I tell people that I don't recommend doing that, doing it
But
the way that I did it. I don't recommend it. I went through a year of withdrawals. I
Well,
had
Yeah, it
withdrawal, and then I
sucks.
had
It's- oh my God.
post-acute withdrawal symptoms. I still have, it feels like a mouse
It goes on for years.
running in my
It
calf,
goes on for years.
in the
like,
nerves at
ugh.
nighttime. It's dissipating. It's
Yeah.
dissipating a lot.
I love
so-
telling people
Good.
how doctors made me relapse. It's like
Well, they wanted me to
crazy.
go in a facility for 45 days, and I
Yeah.
said, what am I going to do for 45 days? And they said, well, we can give you classes. I said, well, what kind of classes? And they said, well, classes on drugs. I'm like, what kind of drugs? And they're like, oh, well, there's people that are addicted to heroin and addicted to this. I said, excuse me, I'm not addicted to anything.
Yeah.
My body is dependent on it, a legal drug.
Oh
It's
my
him.
God. I was like
Yes,
thinking,
a
what is
legal
that?
drug
It's some
that
guy
was
that-
given to me by my doctors.
It's him across the street. That's where the noise is coming. It's him.
I thought it was
He's
feedback.
playing a flute
Yeah.
or a recorder or
I
something.
thought it was feedback on the mic. That's all we need.
Now I forgot what I was saying.
See, that's the
Oh,
short-term
no.
memory
Your
loss.
body
That's the
having to wean off
problem
of
with
everything.
I
that's the
have that.
problem with
It's
your
terrible.
medicine now. So
Yeah.
you forget
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
That's
yes,
Yeah.
they wanted me to go to a facility so I could sit there and take classes with people that were addicted to heroin when I wasn't addicted to anything.
Where
My
do- now,
body
who
was
would
dependent.
pay for that? I imagine
My
it depends on
insurance
the cost.
company.
So what they wanted was to make money. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Well, 45 days too. I said, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
they
yeah.
wanted me to sit. I said, I'm not going to sit there and talk about marijuana and say it's bad because I know it's good. That's what I'm doing. I'm becoming a marijuana patient. I'm going off all my morphine, and that's my plan. And that's what I did.
Because it's a truly medical program,
It
according
is.
to the governor.
Well, now we can get on that subject a little bit. I'm actually so disappointed with the program. I really, really thought that was the
That's a
answer
long.
to my prayers.
That's a long line of people you're
Are
standing.
you talking about the New Jersey State's medicinal marijuana program?
Yes.
Oh yeah. But
You know what? I was so hyped up, like knowing that I'm going to become a patient and have something that's going to help me legal cannabis. That got me through too, like thinking with the withdrawals and everything that I was going through. That got my mind going that I want to do this. And then I joined the program, and I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I can't afford.
But that's
the
by
medicine.
design. That's by
I can't
design.
afford to renew it. I just can't.
yeah, that's by design though.
It's
That's-
terrible.
It's not
yeah,
meant
that's because the current governor is upset that that's one of the state's the New Jersey State medicinal marijuana program is something that the current governor is upset that he inherited, and because it completely flies in the face of what he
What he is
says he
and does,
believes.
yes.
So because he's angry that he inherited something from the previous administration,
That's very
then
last.
he's
minute.
going to do everything possible to discredit, to make it take,
Yeah.
to make it hurt, basically.
And you know what?
what you're
You're
saying is
absolutely
basically
right.
what the aim always
Well,
was.
how much were
Yes.
the medications that you're not taking now? What were they costing? No matter who paid for them.
It ran like $800 to If I was on fentanyl, thousands a month.
Yeah, so I mean,
3,000
in
a
the
month.
course of a year, which would be more expensive, cannabis
Right.
or that?
And I tried to get the
'Cause
insurance
cannabis
company to
is
pay
it-
for cannabis. They won't.
But
Right.
this would be my point: is the medications you got off of more or less expensive than cannabis, even at
Oh
the,
yeah.
you know, even at the rate
Oh,
it
yeah.
would make more
I
fiscal
can't.
sense
I
for
have
them
no
to
weed
do
right
this.
now. I
Yeah.
am weedless.
Yeah.
I'm weedless, and I'm suffering.
But wait a minute, you're a patient.
And I am
That's
suffering.
your medicine.
I wrote it last night. Go look at my status. I couldn't sleep. I freaking laid there
How
and
much
suffered.
did you pay
This
for?
is-
How much did you pay for sales tax? Do you think on cannabis and how long you've been a patient? My point would be the money that you spent on sales tax. If you still had that and didn't spend it on sales tax, you would not be weedless
Right.
now.
Yeah.
So what they
Absolutely,
took
yeah.
from you wasn't just money; they took medicine from you by
Yes.
taxing you. This
Yes.
is the blood money point that's
Yes.
There's your blood money.
And
Governor
nobody
Christie.
cares. I wrote a
Yeah, I was
letter-
gonna say,
wrote a
isn't
letter
there not
to the
supposed to
governor.
be a tax on medicine?
Nope.
Well, no, the Constitution, I believe, even says that
Well,
prescription medicines
The loophole.
and over-the-counter medications are not taxed. So cannabis is not a prescribed medication, and it's not over-the-counter. It's neither. So what happens, it falls into the class of medicine that's recommended, which is only it. It's either prescribed,
Really?
Yeah, so what
Because
happens
I
is,
thought it was
although
prescribed.
no, it's recommended. So
It's
that's
a-
why.
it's a recommendation.
Here's my point, though. Just because somebody found legally we can tax it doesn't make it a good idea.
Exactly.
Okay, Jim Florio in 91 or 92 decided to tax toilet paper. And, all the jokes, and it lasted
Yeah.
6 days,
I remember that, yeah.
Exactly that. So he found out the hard way but when you're messing with people's health, as I've been saying, every time you pay 7% sales tax, if you're going to run out of medicine because you can't afford it, that took 7% of your
medicine.
available medicine.
Yes.
Which for most people, a
Me.
pretty good average would be. Most people, I can afford, say, 3 weeks worth,
Yeah.
or 2 weeks worth, or something in there. That tax that keeps about a day and a half of medicine away per month.
Yeah, a couple of days.
Now, here's the kicker. That tax, for all that pain, when you've had an hour's worth of pain, you know what the state profited from you for that hour? 50 cents. That's such
And my blood.
yeah,
And my sweat.
well,
and my
point,
tears.
well,
point
re-
is in a 10
Yeah,
in a 24-hour day,
Repeat
they're
that.
benefiting
Wait.
12.
Yeah.
12
Let me wrap
bucks.
my head around
Yeah.
that. Repeat what you just said to me.
Yeah.
That the state, for per hour of that person not having their medicine, in other words, 7% sales tax takes away 7% of what you would buy if you can't afford a whole month's supply. It affects how much you can buy. So that's real easy. 7% less medicine because of the sales tax. That would be about a day and a half less medicine per month. If you could afford 16 days, you'd only be able to afford 14 and a half days. So you're going to have a day and a half of extra pain because of that tax. But what they get over that day and a half works out to about 50 cents per hour. That might, be something like
That's what your pain's worth.
$18 in tax.
You're suffering.
It's terrible.
50 cents an hour for your suffering. There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, and you're
It's not
absolutely,
even
you're-
worth it.
You're absolutely right with the timeline. I go about maybe 3 weeks, and then a whole week I go, or 10 days with nothing every month.
It's
And
not,
that's
not an uncommon story.
with carefully conserving what I got,
I know.
because I can't do it. I mean, you've.
Well,
you
it's
know.
all of this is, like I said, to an attempt to debunk the program.
Yeah.
And right now, I think we're at somewhere around 6,800 people participating.
Yeah, and a lot of people get pissed off. I mean, get aggravated like me and not want to.
Not even participate in the program,
Right.
which is the plan.
Right.
So that if I can turn off enough people
Right.
to the program, then we don't even need a program.
No, I totally
And-
understand
or,
that. Yeah.
or when I say I don't want to help out or expand or anything like that, no one's really going to care because no one's really in the program.
But then
Out of
you're in a-
9 million people
yeah.
in the state of New Jersey,
Yeah.
only 6,800 participate in this.
Right.
So from a profit standpoint, there is no profit.
Yeah.
You know, there's not enough people to turn over profit when you spread
if you don't gain
6,800 over the state of New Jersey.
If you don't gain 10% new patients in a given year, you're going to actually lower the amount of patients, because if 10% died in the last
Yes.
year,
Yes.
if 10 more
Yes.
percent
Yeah.
are about to die this year or in the
Right.
Yeah.
process of going through that if we don't add that many more new patients, you know, it is a program designed for failure on so many levels.
And I agree with that. And, you know, as a patient, I think about that. I know that they're going to use that. If I don't continue with the program, that's one less person that they can say is not in the program. But as a patient, I have to decide, well, do I want to spend that $100 every 3 months or whatever it is for my doctor? Or should I take the $100 and go buy medicine?
Well, I think most
I
most
need.
people that I know have a small amount of medicine, an eighth of an ounce, that they can ration out throughout the month.
Right.
Wink, wink,
Well,
nudge,
listen,
nudge, and they
I
turn
went
they
through
turn up something.
everything.
I'm just
Right.
I'm just
My
saying,
and
Karen,
little
that,
baggies, and,
yeah,
you know,
but
jar.
okay, then what they do is on the
Right,
black
start
market, they
following
get
the
something on
roaches.
the black market that's about half that price.
Yeah.
And that extends it out, and then they basically should have been safe in the first place.
Jim,
so you know,
Jim, you know what? I can't even do the black market because I just don't have it. I just can't even that option. You know, of course I've used it. It's there, but that's not even an answer to my problem. You know, I just don't. I can't afford it. I pay $500 a month for health insurance. $500 a month for health.
You know, there's something that it just occurred to me. We have the pharmaceutical for the aged and disabled program, PAAD, and although it's the pharmaceutical, not the recommended medicine
Right.
thing, you know, it wouldn't hurt to throw something up where people in your situation who could prove their income ineligibility for getting it even. There should be a state program, because this is a medical marijuana program.
should be
the
something
governor
like
says.
that,
It's
but
a medical program.
Right.
How
Yes.
can you say it's a medical
But
program?
you know what?
Justify the amount of
Allegedly.
people in it by saying it's medical. That's why there's so few
Allegedly.
people. And then not sticking up for it when he knows it's going south, that Lefty has to go out every week and
Yeah.
prove it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you know, with me, it's the situation that I'm in. You know, I'm not at the bottom. I'm not at the top. I'm right in the middle. I'm like right in that mid-range financially. I have a house. I have a car. You know, everything's being paid for, but I just can't afford my medicine. That's it. I pay for health insurance. Before, all my medicine was covered 100%. I didn't pay a dime. So now I'm paying health insurance, a doctor that's not covered, and medicine that's not covered. And nothing, and my income hasn't changed because I'm on workers' comp, because I'm disabled.
Yeah, see, now
So-
here's the thing. You're not, first of all, let me echo the sentiments that Lefty gave you earlier, but thank you for your testimony. Thank you for being public about your situation, because you are so not alone, even in this struggle right now.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I say this to anybody who's going through what you're going through, and because some people get to that, oh, why, you know, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why do I have to be the one to go through it? And I'm gonna tell you, the reason why you are the reason why this is happening to you, and the reason why you're the one that's going through it, is because you're the one who can. You know, God has a way of working in mysterious
I
ways,
know.
and there is a reason why it has to be you, and only you, at this point, in terms of being as public as you're being with it, sharing your testimony,
'cause I
sharing what's
would've
going
never-
through,
yeah.
because you're not, and here's the thing, the fact that you're being public about it is the biggest of all of it, because a lot of people are silently, you know, suffering with this.
Yeah.
And there are those who
A
are
lot of
suffering,
people.
yeah, and then there are those like us
Right.
who are living with it.
When we had the 420 rally here, the first time I spoke and told my story, I mean, I cried, and people were crying. All these
Yeah.
people were crying, right?
You
and-
both crossed a threshold
Yes.
on the
You
same day.
do realize
Yes, I know.
that was the first time for me too.
Yes.
That I ever spoke in public
But you
like
speak
that.
well. I just got very upset, and But
that-
people were
but that's
contacting
what, that's
me.
what works, Karen.
People contacted me through Facebook. I had people give me their email over here. My mother
Me too.
is going through this. My
Because
sister's
that's
going
what
through
works,
this.
telling it
Thank
like
you
it
for
is.
doing this, and
Telling it
I
like it
felt
is. She stole
so.
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah, and to see where we are today, from 420,
Right.
you know, to where we are today, you know, I have to give all glory to the man upstairs.
Yeah.
I'll
you
give,
know,
I'll
and
give some to
also-
Reed Gussior and Nick
Yeah,
Scutari.
and then also when I look at, you know, everyone here whom I've had the honor and pleasure of coming across, to be working
Yes.
with Lefty and Jim and
Oh, me
Ken.
too. Well,
you know,
this
it's
is
been
my
it's
family,
been it's been the
yes.
highlight of my year so far, guys. You know, and we got a lot of other things. You know, I got a lot of other things in the hopper, you know, that I'm working on. But you guys, this podcast, this organization, this mission has truly given me, has lit a way for me, and where, you know, we can make, you know, try to make things happen.
Yeah. Can I tell you, right after I decided to go off all my narcotics, the first thing I did was
What's that again?
When I went off my narcotics, my
Flushed them
opiates,
down the toilet.
my opiates. The first thing I did was come to a podcast here at the State House.
Nice.
I didn't know anybody, but I knew everybody.
You know me.
Because I was educating myself the whole time I was laid up. So, but that was the first thing I did. And remember when I met you? I'm like, Lefty.
We were talking about how to get off opiates.
Yes.
Because we had the same
Lefty
exact
helped.
experience.
But everybody here helped me. If it wasn't for, I mean, Lefty didn't even know me. I'm texting him, oh my God, I can't take it. The support I got from everybody, I wouldn't have made it without him, without the support.
You're tougher than you think, Karen. You really are, because when you took on that police captain in Trenton, you just bitch slapped him.
What are your
That was good.
the people who said you had a 1 in 100 chance of doing that?
My doctor.
Your doctor. How do they feel about it now?
Feel about me
you've
getting
told-
off?
Yeah, that you've got off and explained to them that it's cannabis that's doing it.
He was all for it.
He's
well,
all for it.
I told him my plan before I went off.
Yeah.
That I wanted to be a medical marijuana patient, and he said he didn't have anything to do with medical marijuana.
Right.
He's not sure,
Yep.
you know, blah blah blah. And basically, he's been my doctor for a long time.
Yeah.
He said, Karen, I'm in the business of, you know, opiates. I'm not in the medical marijuana business. He goes, if you want to try it, so I'll go for it.
Is there anything in your medical records that would indicate from him that he knows about? I'm just saying.
You know, I did tell him like 3 or 4 months in a row what I was doing, and then after that, that was it. He knew, you know, in my eyes, he knows what I'm doing. He doesn't want to talk about it. He didn't ask me about it. He loves that I'm off all the opiates. I'm doing so much better. He's amazed.
So this is like a very good reason to have that as an indication for getting into the program as well. If you wanted to get off opiates or lower the amount you were taking, with the petitions that are being submitted this month and then it closes out, I believe there is a petition, if I'm not mistaken, being submitted with this in mind. As well, there should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, there should be a petition involved where if you're being prescribed any kind of opiates, you automatically have the option for cannabis with them or not.
Well, you know, the state too, because my job is federal. So I have a big problem with them and medical cannabis and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because they told me that they don't recognize medical cannabis, that they have to go by the government federal level, and it's Schedule I drug.
Well, it's also, there's a state scheduling that it's Schedule 1 on as well.
Right. And that's
is
something
yet,
that's...
which is yet another thing. If our governor, as we all know, says this is a medical program, that's why there's so few people in it. That's why I did everything I could to make it a medically based program, and I believe that's what we have. The governor says all that. But the next question should be, don't you think that the state classification should be changed to reflect that? How can we have...
Yeah, it's
It's-
oxymoronic. Yeah.
scheduled with no medical value. So the Division of Consumer Affairs is the one who's responsible for changing, and Ken did 2 years ago, went through the process and was turned down. So, you know, again, that just seems like that needs an explanation, and the governor has a spokesperson. He should start speaking about things like that.
Yes. I hate to do this, but I need to go medicate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm
no,
dying right
don't be
now.
sorry for what you got to do.
All right.
Do not
Thank
be
you.
sorry for what you got to do.
I was
And don't don't feel
house.
fortunate for being able to do it either.
I was at the criminal courthouse earlier holding signs up. So.
Hey, can you save me some, please? Please.
Wow, there's a preponderance of legal patients here today.
Yeah. This is
We're
great.
outnumbered.
This is great.
I of course am an illegal patient. I don't know. Maybe I'm not an illegal patient because cannabis has had a place in my life since 1970. So I didn't use it medically for a long time. But what do you call it? Well, yeah, come around and take Lefty's seat. Yeah, there you go. Have all the amenities, headphones, microphone that's hands-free. And hopefully a little later on, I was talking to a friend of mine, Michael Crowitz. No, it's Lefty. He's in Virginia, and he is the director of Veterans for Medical VMCA, Veterans for Medical Cannabis Association, VMCA.
Okay.
And we talked, and he was very, I think, correct and adamant about the fact that we should never really fully accept a premise. What about the lack of studies? And
interesting.
And he had good replies, for pretty much the standard. Now, you of course, were there as well at the Senate Health Committee hearing where it passed 6-3 at a committee, and the president of the New Jersey Psychiatric Association testified against it using that exactly. And we don't go from doing tests on rats and mice to people. We just, we don't use anecdotal. We need, never once, of course, acknowledging that the kind of testing he's talking about, FDA approved gold standard with government legal federal marijuana, has never been possible. But in the meantime, there are studies of sorts that we can use, and I'd hope to later on today maybe get Michael on the phone. He was joined the Air Force in 1981 and then was hurt pretty severely while stationed in the Philippines. And he's the one that also challenged the pain management contract to the point where he had his opiates taken away.
Oh, wow.
And cannabis wasn't enough. And he had a lot of pain for the time it took to fight that. And I was like, that was the definition of heroic, to do that, to point out how this works adversely for veterans. And I'd hope to get him on the phone so that I could be the devil's advocate and take the part of what the guy from the heads the Psychiatric Association, what he might say. And I want to hear how Mike would respond, and let him know in the beginning of the hypothetical, that there's going to be things that just might work in a conversation we're going to have. But if it was to be used for cover for somebody like the governor, to be able to point to something, it can't involve. That's not really important, saying anything like that, In other words, you've got to have some pretty good answers, and I think Michael would be just a guy to maybe show in a quick conversation, if we do get hold of him later, how that might work, because that is the only thing our governor could possibly have to justify anything other than signing it.
Well, it's been my experience, having, excuse me.
You're excused.
having talking with folks that and I said this the other day to somebody in my speech class that if you're someone who still uses the term gateway drug when in reference to marijuana, you've just dated yourself
severely.
And I already know, this is a person who is going off of a lot of outdated information, and at that point, why try to engage? Because
there is no cognizance. Well, I mean, they probably also think you can get a sexually transmitted disease from a toilet seat too.
You're way behind. Yeah,
so far behind that you have to acknowledge new information as it happens. We don't do bloodletting with leeches anymore. Get with the program.
Yeah, and sometimes I have to give them the example of, remember when, back in the day when they would say, black people blood and white people blood shouldn't be mixed and all this other stuff because there's, whatever. Oh, that's
no, we're getting a call-in guest?
That's Lefty. Got you, Lefty. And so, and now that we, fast forward to today, we know better, and the folks who were saying those things back then, turns out we're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So
it's going to happen again with what we're doing now.
Right now, a lot of people have set themselves up to be on the wrong side of history.
And they better make that jump to the correct side at some point.
Well,
soon.
yeah. Well, when I was little, my mom used to make us watch a show called Eyes on the Prize. And it was all about, the civil rights struggle and the things that they, and that's when I saw my mom telling me, I remember my mom telling me, when the cameras were pointed onto the folks who were protesting and they put the police dogs and the hoses on all those people. And I remember her telling me that was the first time cameras shook the world. That's when they saw, that's when it really messed them up as far as seeing, dogs being, used.
I was give or take 13 years old, 12, 13 years old when that was first getting play. So I would see that on the news that night. And I got to tell you, that's the exact memories I have are the look of fear on somebody's face that had a dog sicked on them, and how quickly you could wash a person down the road with a water cannon, a hose. And it would be children in some cases.
Yeah, and I remember my mom telling me.
Women and children.
Yeah, and I remember my mom telling me, that's when it was really whoa.
Yeah.
This is real.
But
now,
this is important. Let me tell you, I think how relative that is sometimes we go up against a brick wall. And people say, well, what's the point in doing it? He's not going to sign it. Why would you do this when you know he's not going to sign? Why go through all that effort? And if it's going to be a defeat, it's not going to be because we didn't show up. It's going to be because we brought our A game and got squashed by a more powerful force. But at some point, people see that and have the same reaction to what we're doing if it becomes more evident that this is actually taking medicine away from sick people, like the water cannon effect and police dogs. It's our biggest moments may come through what people term failures.
Yes. Yeah, but that's the point. And the thing is that you have so many people right now, the disenfranchisement of the state's program is what the aim was, in my opinion, of this current administration.
It's no secret that we have a failed program, so what patient's going to go through the hoops they have to go through to get into a failed program? That in itself is taking away support and keeping the numbers lower than they should be. However, if post-traumatic stress is added as an indication, we have no real numbers on how many people that might involve. But as I say, while it's veterans who get the door open because that's the way it works, and we know that, children too, you know. and really demonstrably incredibly sick people, like the late great Charlotte Miller. When I pushed her in, it was never, does it work? You know, we went well beyond that discussion. But that 4 times as many non-veterans have post-traumatic stress as veterans do, even though they have a more higher percentage. There's, as you've pointed out, obviously far fewer veterans than lifelong civilians. So those numbers could be pretty high. And I'd like to think that, that we get somewhere with this soon. Not just because it will save people's lives, but this is just the kind of thing that should not go unnoticed.
Yeah, and hopefully it will not. I mean, here's the thing: what will get noticed if it doesn't go through? What will get noticed if what will get noticed if he?
What do you think? What do you think? Veto override looking possible? Do you think that's going to be the option? If he vetoes, it's going to have to be an override. We got the votes. If people don't change their votes,
right?
We have enough votes in both the Assembly and the Senate that if the people who voted to get this to the governor's desk also voted to override a veto, it would be the first veto override. So the governor's really not going to say he's stupid, man.
And Fortune, how you doing, brother, man? Hey, it's a seat. We're ready. Come on in.
Anytime, we have whenever we have current, up-to-date news of any sort. Here, why don't you come?
The hot seat.
Yeah, come on over, sit over here.
That side?
Yeah, sit on my side. Got a little warmed up for you.
How you been? First time I've seen this since we publicly disagreed.
Damn, Leo, you're limping and everything.
I don't know as far as court goes today.
Leo, what happened to you?
I'll tell you.
I never seen you limp like this. Oh, man.
So what's up, man? You all good? If he signs it, I understand.
Hey, we'll talk offline.
Gotcha.
There you go. New Jersey Weed Man had his court date today, or a court date.
Yeah.
And you didn't get what you needed, apparently.
Not this time. We'll be ready, though.
Really?
Yeah, we'll be ready.
But what happened in court today?
Now, the reason why we weren't ready, though, is because the prosecutor's office here in Mercer County withheld our affidavit, and you need the affidavit to support the search warrant in order for us to move forward. It's like, how are you going to challenge something and you don't even have something? They withheld the information we needed in order to challenge the arrest, the search, the whole 9 yards, and they stole all of our camera equipment, our DVR, and our hard drives, and we needed the search warrant to get it back. The judge actually denied it, basically because we couldn't put on a proper argument, which the judge had already, went back and forth about that. So the judge basically dismissed it without prejudice, meaning we could file it again. The prosecutor's office, their story was, it's in the mail. That was the story. It was in the mail.
That's a not good enough response.
When the lawyer asked, well, hey, you got one in your file. Why don't you let me have one in your file? The one in your file. She said it's in the mail. They don't have it. Why didn't they send it a week ago? Why didn't they send it a month ago? Why didn't they give it to me at the very beginning? And this is not my first rodeo. I've been arrested before, and
Not your first.
And I've had
Not your first dozen.
Yeah, I've had warrants served on me before, and there's always an affidavit attached. So right away, when I got this search warrant and I didn't have an affidavit attached, I instantly knew something was amiss.
Now, make sure you make it a point to note when it does arrive in the mail. Make sure you annotate the stamp. Yes, the stamp.
Right.
Because
we might be filing perjury charges if it's not in the mail yesterday. That's what she said.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That's my point.
Right.
Okay, you just looked me in the face and told a bold-faced lie.
No, she did it to a judge.
Yeah, well, she looked at a judge. Yeah,
Yeah. So
Was any of this a surprise to you in any way? How today went?
Yes, in a way. I actually thought the judge would maybe force the issue by getting the affidavit, but I'm not mad at how he did it. The judge, we couldn't properly execute it, but it was because the prosecutor didn't give us what we were supposed to have. So,
Right.
so he basically did dismiss it, but he dismissed it without prejudice. So we'll be filing it probably in another 3 or 4 days as soon as it comes in the mail. And then we'll refile.
Like I just said,
Right.
So and then on top of that, the next go around, because all this was just a delay, a means by which we can, hold the process up.
Right.
And so what they just without prejudice means you better better be in the mail.
Right.
And now we're talking not that day.
Right. The judge did order them not to destroy anything, though, which I think
I
was good.
wish I could
Oh, okay.
hear their conversations behind closed doors about this. I mean, they have a public perception they put out, but I'd love to hear the conversation about how they're going to handle the weed man. I mean, you have all sorts of, your fame, infamy precedes you, certainly.
Well, that's good, but there's also a few other things going on. There's Oprah requests have been filed like crazy against them. I have my federal civil rights case against the city of Trenton. There's a Oprah lawsuit now because they didn't answer one of the Oprah requests. So there's going to be a whole bunch of pressure, and there's actually going to be another lawsuit filed with my argument against Officer Tenderbutt Flowers.
I got a shirt for him.
Oh man!
You see, don't shoot, I'm white.
He's right down the street.
Don't
right
shoot,
now.
I'm butthurt. Don't shoot, I'm butthurt. We should do a ceremony. Give him a nice shirt.
Now here's the thing. As a tax-paying citizen of the city of Trenton, as a homeowner, I look at you, I look at your situation, and this is how I perceive it. Okay, based upon what I see in the newspaper and what I see on TV. Number one, I'm upset because I'm a firm believer in, in the military, we have this saying, attitude is a direct reflection of leadership. And so what went down in front of your establishment, minutes after having spoken to the mayor of the city of Trenton, what I saw the police department doing, okay?
Trying to intimidate free
Yes.
speech.
Now here's the thing. They did it when it was done. They were more than okay with doing it the way that they did it. That's number one. Number two, at that time, we're talking about a guy who has the attention of the United States Supreme Court at that time. So in my mind, you hot.
Right.
Okay? And the thing, and someone who has that kind of attention, the thing that they thought to do is to come to your establishment and do and intimidate. Attempt to intimidate. Yeah. Now
it didn't work.
Yeah. Now here's where I'm upset. Here's another part where I'm upset at, because at the end of the day, I'm saying to myself, this guy is going to rake the city of Trenton. You understand what I'm saying? And you know who has to pay for that? I do.
Now, I don't know if you know it, but in one of my columns, before I got fired, but in one of my columns,
Your former column.
Yes, in one of my columns, I did say, I was speaking to the citizens of Trenton. I did say that I do plan on filing a $1 million suit at that time, and I said if I'm successful, I would give 1/3 of it over to the charity of my choice for the city.
Right.
Well, the coalition is a 501c3 nonprofit
Exactly.
or charitable organization.
And you know what? I'm going to honor that. If I end up getting a large sum of money about this, I'm going to totally honor it. I mean, I publicly said it anyway.
But you know what though, Ed? This is my thing though.
I said it though because I know the citizens of Trenton are the ones who ultimately pay for it. Even if they don't actually come out of their pocket and pay for it, they're paying high insurance.
Yeah.
The city
tax.
pays high insurance premiums.
Yeah.
Did you see how many lawsuits have been settled by the city just this year?
Well, listen, I want to
It's like 7 or 8. Last month it was $1 million.
Yeah. And who's paying for that? Me.
Okay.
Yep.
And so when I see this stuff happening, particularly in this, and here's the thing, it's personal for me because I'm dealing with medicinal marijuana too, and
right.
and this plays a part in how this whole thing is viewed.
Yeah, I want to introduce Ken Wolski.
Ken Wolski's
into
in the
here,
house.
the CEO, heart and soul of Coalition for Medical Marijuana. He usually does our comes by and keeps us up to date on what's going on, but we're in the middle of being kept up to date with what's going on. So, Ken, is there any questions you have for Ed?
Yeah, you won. It's on.
Well, this is technically a no smoking area.
Oh shoot, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we got to all look in a different direction.
We have been, compliant with all the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey in order to have these 51 now, 52. Yeah. I think this is your 52nd.
I don't think the police know the law. We almost got arrested twice this morning, Ken.
Well, by
state police.
They know that I know that they know that my function out here, oddly enough, is to make sure people don't smoke here.
Hey, look over there. Look at that.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now. Is what I'm saying.
And
is,
I did it too.
I like Sergeant Schultz. Remember Sergeant Schultz on Hogan's Heroes? I see nothing. I see nothing. But I know we always come to middle ground, and it's sort of like I look the other way as long as I can. And
my bad.
Yeah,
I forgot.
No, actually, this shows that if you sit down at somebody where we're coalescing, that you're not just out to randomly break laws or rules. And the idea that the weed man would say, "Listen, I'll put that out for now." We appreciate that. It's a mutual respect for what we're trying to do, and that keeps it alive.
I actually forgot. I mean, you guys know I.
Yeah. Well,
events here, I totally just forgot.
I can believe that.
I just forgot.
Well, when you were on trial 4 years ago, I was tasked with the sheriff's department with going out and telling you and all your friends to stop smoking marijuana by his weed mobile. And it's sort of like you're sheriff's officers. The idea that somehow you ended up putting me in a position of having to do their work. So I suggested they go do it. And then when they hesitated, you know why? Because if you got busted for smoking in the parking lot, during a trial where you're trying to prove you could indeed consume a pound of marijuana by yourself, that would actually somehow in a mutant way help your trial.
Yeah. It would have been interesting.
Yeah, it was good. I got a good laugh out of them. But what do you got? Do you have a timeline now on what's coming up? The next step?
Next court date is August 23rd.
What's the purpose of that?
It's actually an arraignment hearing.
I thought that was today.
No, today was supposed to be a whole pretrial argument to get my property back, things like that. So I think what happened was, because of that, it speeded up their indictment process, because no one gets indicted in 2.5 months around here. So bam, they speeded up the process. They indicted me Monday, and then today I was given the date for the actual arraignment. So whatever, it's kind of backwards, but whatever. So I haven't had my formal charges read to me yet.
So this whole thing is sloppy all around.
It's going to go on in increments like that, and it is a story that people are going to be very interested in. It's
well, I've been through this a couple of times, and once or twice I try to delay things. This time I'm going to try to rush things as fast as possible. I'm going to argue they're delaying, they're slowing down. And to me, it's all the same arguments anyway. Nothing's changed. My argument's all still the same.
But how does the indictment, or the 11-count indictment that I read about, coincide with your lawsuit against the harassment of the city of Trenton?
Well, I'm saying that this lawsuit, this indictment, this whole arrest was nothing but retaliation for me filing a harassment suit. And look what they got. They were retaliating against me. They were coming for the camera systems. The police officers were personally joking that I wasn't going to be putting them in the Trentonian the next day, because remember before the last time they came, I had them on the front page of the Trentonian. So when they came, they were coming for the camera systems, and they made jokes and everything all about the camera system and taking the camera system, and then they took the camera system. To me, it was nothing but a retaliation.
And someone from up high made it okay.
Yes.
To be the way that they're being. That's what I mean by when I say attitude is a direct reflection of leadership.
To be clear, the camera system is why it was considered a fortified. What was that actual phrase?
What does that mean?
That's what it's called, fortification of a property.
Fortification of a property.
Right.
Having it under complete surveillance is fortification.
Now, the funny thing.
I think like deadbolts, extra locks, maybe
trapdoor.
Trapdoors, some.
Right. Exactly. Now that law they had to reach back to. those are laws that were created during the height of the crack epidemic. You know, when crack houses were around, and people fortified buildings and houses, and
with the bars on the windows and stuff.
That's a relatively new law, then.
And they sold things through the window.
Law.
Well, I'm thinking it's like a time stamp law. It was created to stop crack houses, like to punish people for running and operating crack houses, right? So, because what happened in the 80s, sometimes by the time the police broke in and this, that, and the other,
stuff was already flushed down the toilet.
It was all that.
Yeah, you couldn't.
They didn't have any evidence.
He's right.
So they put these laws in place that made everything about it illegal.
Yeah.
You can't make your house impenetrable.
Yep.
You can't have these camera systems to warn you when the police officers are coming.
So that way, when we come to bust down your door and place upon you PTSD.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So there were laws that were designed in it to inadvertently, make it so that folks had to live a certain kind of way and make you susceptible to.
By that virtue, a safe room would be illegal. I mean, the one you would go to in an emergency.
Safe house is illegal.
That should be illegal as well.
See, this is another one of those laws, though, that's only executed in urban areas. And I'm being very mild here.
Yes, you are.
But that's the truth. I bet you if you did an Oprah search on when and where and how you've been prosecuted, which fortification cases have been prosecuted, you'll probably find they're all in urban areas. All.
Yep.
Where I'm sure they have safe houses in the suburbs too.
Yeah, with camera systems.
Who doesn't have a camera system now?
Yeah, I actually have one.
When they added that in the 80s, most businesses actually didn't have them, even though some bigger businesses had them. So at this point, I can look on these buildings across the street and see cameras. Everywhere's got a camera now. If you don't have a camera, you're dumb or too broke.
Right.
And camera systems are so cheap now.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna, if the Trenton Police Department is gonna, charge you for that, then they need to come walk down here, and issue the same type of warnings and stuff. But it's obvious to the regular folk, what's going on. Here's the thing: we've all seen this before. We're used to dealing with this. Well, I'm sorry, they're used to dealing with this. I've only been here for 2 years now, Ed, but I've been gone for 21. So seeing, listening to the things that you're going through and seeing what you've been dealing with, it makes for, the whole idea of the whole laws that were made for crack houses and stuff like that. Yeah, this is old stuff. Yeah, it's how they do it. Yep. So
they're misapplying that law. That's how I look at it. That's a total misapplication of
which feeds the joint open. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say which feeds the whole. Like what I've noticed about this city as a whole. There are people. The majority of the citizens of the city of Trenton are suffering from PTSD. And when you look at, what's the percentage number? 40% of the children. 40% of the kids in this city are suffering from PTSD.
The ones that aren't shot.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
it's like once we start putting things in numbers and then you start applying it to actual real people, this is way, we passed crazy a couple of train stops ago. Okay, this is dreadful.
Question about the states, just for clarification. This PTSD bill that Christie is stalling on, this is for everyone.
Everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everyone,
Anyone who has PTSD.
It's the I don't know how to put it more bluntly, other than veterans and children are at the top of the heap for getting doors opened where everybody else hopefully can come behind. So there's certainly no separation, and we well acknowledge that there's statistically at least 4.4 times more non-veterans with post-traumatic stress. So the numbers are much larger in the civilian population, even the percentage is higher in the veteran population. And
now Philippe Dumais and myself, we testified in Senate committee so that it could be voted on. It was voted 6-3 to go out of committee and then to the General Assembly, and then
Right.
they voted last Monday.
Right.
But-
yeah,
but-
I was following it. I just didn't. I wasn't 100% sure about that one.
But there is
Well,
a
you know,
clarification.
that's a fair
there is a
question,
clarification of that, though, Ed. It's for anyone with PTSD, but the PTSD has to be resistant to conventional treatments.
How do you prove that?
Now, how many conventional treatments? Is there a number, Ken? Is there like
Yeah,
3
no,
or 2 or 1?
The law is silent on exactly how many conventional treatments have to be tried before marijuana therapy will be allowed.
And is that what all, or just like do they separate the vets? Like if
No,
the vets have already been.
Well, anyone who's already been through a course of treatment and has failed that course of treatment is eligible for
So
marijuana
you have to
therapy.
survive death.
Yeah, you have
Basically,
to.
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to survive the antidepressants. The
opioids,
the psychiatrist may want to put you on. You have to survive. The other
The therapy.
psychotropic drugs.
Yeah,
that
good
they
luck
want
with
to put
that.
you on. Right.
That
Yeah.
couldn't have been clarified before it came
Well,
a bill that gets signed. Like
Well, that was how the bill was written. It was written, I think, with the hope that Governor Christie would sign it, and it was a very conservative in nature,
Yes.
so that he wouldn't send it back with a conditional veto.
Yes.
My problem with the failed
and then
other
for-
therapies
and then
thing
for the
is really
next
severe.
couple
though.
years, we'll be trying to get it amended.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the conclusion that if Ken and I, if we both live to be 100 years old, there's going to be things that need fixing. Can't tell if that's what
Ed,
you would
Ed,
have liked to have
you
said.
look like you want to say something, Ed.
I'll keep my mouth shut. Sometimes
Well,
I can do it. Sometimes I know people don't think so,
Well,
but
Don't say it. Don't say it.
when I
Well,
actually,
for the next couple of years, we're really working to build support for New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform and legalization and taxation and regulation of marijuana here in New Jersey.
Legalization will happen long before the medical program's working, which is the irony.
pretty much.
that's how I feel
How
about
sad
it.
is that? though?
Yeah.
That's
And
not-
I've always said that right now, as an industry, it's in its third trimester. To give you an analogy right now, and the boom will be when it's born, and that's when it's legal, all around throughout the whole country.
Well, there's 6 more states that it's
I
on the
know.
ballot in November.
Yeah,
so
I read that yesterday.
So
yeah.
it's going to increase up to 10 maybe, if that's if they all pass. So then we'll have 10 states legal, District of Columbia, and then like 20-something states
I think
have
it'll
some
be-
type of medical.
If
25 right now have medical, but and
Yeah,
about
so it'd be
another dozen
35.
have CBD-only laws.
Right. So, like, come on. How can the federal government and not reclassify marijuana?
And
at
they
this
still
point?
refuse to do it. They
I
refuse.
heard that they're getting ready to make that announcement.
Yeah.
Look at the state of New Jersey. This has been my argument ever since January 18th, 2010, that the state of New Jersey recognize marijuana's medicinal value for Kumina purposes, but they still prosecute people like me under 2C-35 that says they have never meshed their laws.
Oxymoronic.
Mostly because of Christie. In other states, you can look at California, look at Arizona, you can look at several of those states, their medical marijuana laws are either exemptions in their criminal statutes or the opposite. Their criminal statutes include their medical marijuana statute to make it an exemption. And New Jersey's laws never did that. It never meshed them together.
No.
Two separate
Well,
laws.
Ken, 2 years ago, went through Division of Consumer Affairs.
When the law first passed in 2010 or 2011.
To say that now that we have a medical law, how can we have a state classification of Schedule 1?
I also wrote to the New Jersey Board of Pharmacy and never even got the courtesy of a reply from them.
Right.
I mean, it was
Because
obviously going to be a futile attempt, but I want to say that
no-brainer.
it was good to go through it, though.
And that's the thing that makes that's how people get their jokes off of us. We're a joke with the way what Ed just pointed out. The way things are not matching up. That makes us prone to all
and that one
kinds
is
of
just
jokes.
so plain. When the governor says the reason there's so few people in the program is ours is truly a medical program that we have a state law says it has no medical value. So, I mean, you can't say both in the same breath.
Right. Well,
So
they do.
I was kind of hoping our governor would be an ally in trying to get consumer affairs in line because they're making him look bad. They're saying, no, it's not a medical program. It can't be. There's no medical use.
Well,
Right.
That's
right.
what New Jersey did. And imagine if you had two laws, one saying you can make a right on red, and one saying you can't make a right on red.
Right.
Like that's the same thing.
Well, yeah.
It has medical value and it doesn't have medical value. And who gets to decide if you're going to get charged with a crime or not? Police officer, prosecutor, or doctor? Most of the time, it's the prosecutor.
What did you come up against, Lefty, that time? They were just saying, well, what we do is you let them sort it out in court. You know,
tell it to the
so
judge.
like, who do you charge? Is police can charge you in pretty much whatever they want, and then the theory is go sort it out in court.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see what sticks, and that's just what kind of rule of law is that?
Now, see, here's the thing: while you're going through all these, this pinball machine,
jumping through hoops,
and all this stuff,
being victimized.
Yeah, this is costing us money.
Yep.
Time and money, and what Karen was talking about earlier, pain.
Yes.
And what was the number?
7% more pain.
Yeah, which is 50 cents an hour.
50. That's some crazy numbers, man.
It really, speaks to, the whole thing as far as, what we are dealing with in terms of the oxymoronic politics. And when it comes to veterans, this is supposed to be a bipartisan issue, a nonpartisan issue. We're saying this is when Christie said the things that he said about the state program and how he's not interested, at that time, the number 22 veterans a day committing suicide and 5 a week in New Jersey, that wasn't the number that wasn't being thrown out. That wasn't known then. Now, when you look at, 20 to 22 veterans a day, 5 a week in your state, and mind you, you hedged your bet on a guy. You hedged your bet on a guy who's becoming unraveled at the seams right now, and embarrassed the hell out of yourself and your state.
Hey, there's a percentage of people think he's God though, so you have to watch it.
Yeah.
There's a percentage of people.
According to him, the Second Amendment folks, right?
Yeah.
I'm just IJS. I'm just saying. Again, what we don't have time for is we don't have time for these types of oxymoronic politics to be played out while we're talking about real lives. And
How you doing, sir?
And then on top of that, you have upstanding citizens such as Ed Fortune here, who are being, brutalized because folks are not up on the current Kuma laws, are not even aware. Like, they don't even know to be embarrassed, Ed. That's the part that bothers me. You don't even know to be embarrassed.
He brought jobs to Trenton. He cleaned up that whole corner. There was crack and heroin on that corner before.
Across the street from City Hall.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Across the street. Look at what was happening before you got.
It's supposed to be like the thought at the time was, let's stop hiding in the cannabis closet. Marijuana should be on Main Street. This is State Street, State Capitol. Let's put it right smack dab.
Good for you, Ed. Good for you.
Yeah, and think about this, Ed. Go one block behind you.
Oh, I know.
And then go one block behind us.
Yeah.
And you are on the same street as the state building is on.
Yep.
The Trenton City Hall and the state and the state house of the city of the state of New Jersey are on the same street. And all you have to do is go one block over. And everything that we've been saying, this city, this state is suffering from a serious opioid abuse epidemic. Okay,
and they're worried about potheads.
And what you're and rather than address that issue with an alternative measure that could actually bring a very real industry, if we were smart about it, to the state, but instead, what you want to do is you want to prosecute and persecute and prosecute upstanding citizens who are adding to this.
Want to hear something funny?
Go for it.
I don't know if it's funny or not. It might be sad, but. And I'm not dry snitching either. But City Hall is used as a rendezvous point for suburbanites who don't want to go one block over. They come and hang out right at City Hall, and people come from a block or two over.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Right at City Hall.
I actually knew that.
Yes.
I actually knew that. Yes, that's the word on the street. Yeah.
Suburbanites come park their cars.
That's the safe place.
I get a hooker at City Hall?
No.
Oh, what are you saying?
You want to get your fix.
Oh, drugs.
Yeah, you late. Damn.
Now you can probably get a hooker too.
They're inside.
Hey, just meet me at City Hall.
Meet me at City Hall. But he's actually right. I live in Mill Hill, so
Yeah.
I know.
Same thing. People get their little safe spots, and
Yeah.
you know, they come from the suburbs.
It's
They
Benny
come from the
T.
suburbs and park. And,
Benny T.
There we go.
What's up, Benny T?
What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, Ed is
man.
right. That's the way. That's where you go. Like that's where the suburbanites go. He's right.
Mm-hmm. They don't go around the corner.
No, City Hall is the spot to go.
Wait, man, I have a question for you now. I can clear up this whole mess for you right now. This whole arrest that you had, I can clear it up for you right now. Let me talk to your prosecutor. Because when I was rolling a joint before at your place, I dropped some weed on the floor.
$19,000 worth?
A lot of us will drop weed on the floor. A lot of patients go to your place and we all dropped weed. Can we compare our
first
weed?
Of all, there wasn't $19,000 worth of weed there. That's the absurd part.
I dropped about 10 grand worth,
Now,
probably on your
could
floor.
that weed have been planted on you?
No, there was no.
Well,
there
we
wasn't.
have a camera system. Listen, I have admitted to everybody I had about 6 ounces. Okay. There was a few.
$19,000.
No, it's not even 1,900.
I was gonna say,
But there was a few people there who tossed their bags. Again, still had nothing to do with 1,900.
19,000. Yeah.
19,000. There was some edibles and stuff there that
Again,
weren't mine.
19,000.
Yeah, exactly. Like what?
Again,
they didn't even take all the bowls and bongs, but then they charged me with having paraphernalia. Like I didn't even get that. They came there specifically for the camera system. What they found in weed was like kudos and icing on the cake, and
for them at that time.
yeah, and you have to understand when I filed that civil suit against the city responded with the city with the city police officers being city police officers, you know, they kind of lie, and these officers lied about why they were there, and the attorney that represented them presented that lie in her brief to the federal judge, and I called and I filed a motion to the federal judge to classify this brief as an attempted perjury upon the court, fraud upon the court, which is very serious, a very serious charge. The attorney sent me a letter demanding I give them a copy of all of my video and to save it. They call it a spoilage. They sent me a spoilage letter. Okay, I get the letter. I ignore the letter. So 10 days later, they come and they take it. And that's what happened. They found weed. They found, you know, but who wouldn't find weed on Weed Man?
I was gonna say that's to be expected.
At least, you know, at least a bud. I mean, I know I'm weedless, man, to some people. but that's because I had to be weedless man now.
Right,
You know?
right,
I can't. Like, I'd be stupid if and that's what I'm saying even about this case. Come on. All right, I got a little weed to smoke. I got a little, you know, head stash. I got a little sharing material. You know, that's about it. I was selling turkey burgers. You know, and you guys even know me. When's the last time any of you knew me to be into some weed enterprise?
I'm always smoking you up, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish you'd smoke me up once.
Somebody called me a mooch recently. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, you've been mooching a lot lately.
Weed man's the
Serious.
mooch?
Mooch
Wow.
But that's called state-inspired mooching.
You know, you've been so victimized by the criminal justice system here, Ed. You know, here you are, a legitimate medical marijuana patient from California, and you weren't even allowed to really discuss that at your court case back from when you were busted in 2011. Here you are, a Rastafarian that uses marijuana religiously. You were not allowed to discuss that at all. You know, your main defenses are taken away from you for your use of marijuana, and it just seems like it is a criminal injustice system that we have here in New Jersey, Ed.
Well, that's why I constantly advocate jury nullification, as you know. And I know it's a huge risk. We know John Pedito is in jail now because that risk went the other way with him. I had luck last time, and I'm banking my freedom on it again. And listen, last time I actually had a pound of weed. This time, like I said, I had 6 ounces of weed. My camera system that they have stolen is going to exonerate me from all that other stuff, you know? But they charged me for this bag behind the couch and that bag on the floor and this bag here and this. The camera system is going to show that this person threw it and that person threw it. Not that
If it's still intact.
Yeah,
If
right.
We don't know what they did once they gained possession of it. There's no
Right.
telling what they did.
Well, just to be honest, the judge seemed to be pretty fair today. At least he didn't seem to be siding with anybody. He did tell he did order the prosecutor's office to preserve everything. So
That's after that.
They could have already
the damage is
altered it.
already.
Yeah,
It could have already been erased. It could
Right.
have already been edited,
Exactly.
and so on and so forth.
We'll see.
Like, oh, Your Honor, that happened before you said what you said.
No,
Yeah.
but
Then
do you
you're-
have a
then you're
hearing
SOL.
scheduled in your civil suit as well?
No, because we were waiting what happens with this if we were going to get our equipment back. So now when we file the next paperwork in federal court, we're going to say what happened. And we asked the federal judge also to order them back, to give it back.
Excellent.
So who knows? Maybe the federal judge may order us to get it back. Plus, he knows. We filed a lawsuit first, and my whole proof that their case was bogus was my camera system. And they came and took it. You know? Like, it wasn't a coincidence. It absolutely wasn't a coincidence. And how many places get raided and they take their camera systems? They don't do that.
Well, I mean, when there's a cover up. Remember in Chicago when that kid got shot? What was the first place those cops went? They went to the Burger King and took the camera system.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the you know, that's the new the new ROE, the rules of engagement.
Right.
When you do something wrong.
I gotta take off.
Okay. All right, brother Ed. Good seeing you as always.
Man, good seeing you.
Thank you.
Catch you later.
There we go.
New
Jack.
Jersey weed man, Ed Fortune,
I'm old
everybody.
school.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a germaphobe. That's how when the fist bump came around, I was like, yes.
Yes,
I
thank God.
gotta shake hands. Yes.
Yeah. Notice how I gave it to you.
Whatever. But see now.
We nurses avoid infectious diseases by washing our hands all the time.
Why don't you try that first?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm a germaphobe now. Now my hand's like on fire because I just shook somebody else's hand.
Oh.
So fine. Now I can't touch my face. I can't eat my food until I wash my hands. That's
Got your balls.
It doesn't. Not all the time, but sometimes. Hey, couldn't I get? Maybe that's from the side effect of PTSD. I don't know.
Hey, it could be a trigger.
Let's look into that.
It could be a trigger.
Terrified.
Let's study. Need more studies.
Yeah. Make sure you make your way some point to the VA hospital.
Really, you know what caused that? I was just watching Lefty one day, and every time if you just watch Lefty, he picks his nose, he rubs his lips, he scratches his balls, and then he shakes your hand.
Not on camera.
Ed, you just got to get one of those little, wash your hands, clean, the hand cleansers.
Oh, she didn't bring my bag. I have one in that little bag I carry all the time. That's what's in there.
New Jersey weed man, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
Good luck, Ed. We wish you the best
man.
of luck
Yeah,
in
man. Take
your
care.
struggles, your prosecutions, your persecutions, your religious persecution, prosecution as a medical patient from out of state. His diagnosis, his cancer diagnosis, does not change when he crosses state lines. His treatment plan does not change when he crosses state lines.
Mine does. I get healthier. Once I go over the border, I'm suddenly healthy again. I don't need my weed. That's how it works. That's how they want it to work. No, you're right. It's a shame. It's a shame. I went to Jersey City yesterday, and we talked to the police about medical marijuana. And I wanted to know from the Port Authority police about the border issue. Because the Port Authority has authority over New York and New Jersey. So is Port Authority going to know about the Kuma law and the New York law and the nuances between the two? There's a lot of differences between New Jersey law and New York law.
Absolutely.
And the Port Authority is going to have to know both of those.
So what did they say?
Well, we didn't get to talk to the Port Authority, but the Jersey City police were wonderful.
Yeah, I saw your video there. So
They were wonderful.
That was nice.
They knew the law. They let us smoke outside. The police that were just coming in to go to work and going home could care less that we were smoking. We had bongs. We had a cloud of smoke they were walking through. Not that we meant to do that, but it just happened to be that way because we were medicating, and the police couldn't care less. They had better things to do.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jim.
But for those who do care, the state police, they're running earlier this morning.
Yeah, we had a run-in this morning at the state police.
Oh, really?
Not here.
Oh.
At the other courthouse. I wanted to smoke my cannabis out in the smoking lounge where people were openly smoking tobacco, where it said you could.
City Hall.
The other courthouse where there's a statue, there's two statues of a guy sitting on the bench in the little smoking area there. Not the courthouse Ed was in, the courthouse across the street.
City Hall. That's City Hall.
It's not City Hall.
The courthouse, the federal courthouse.
It was the county courthouse and the Superior Court.
Just say okay.
Just say okay at this point, where the Department of Health is.
Okay, all right.
That area.
The Department of Justice.
So the cop says to me, I should actually replay this for you. I mean, it's on a video here. But the cop said, the state trooper sergeant says to me, no, this is state property. You cannot smoke cannabis here. I said, but sir, there's people smoking tobacco for fun. I want to smoke cannabis for my health. He says, are you here to argue with me? I said, no, that's okay. So I went back and I hid behind the statue. I cowered behind the statue like I did when I was in high school, and I was scared that I was going to get arrested or in trouble. I'm there 5 minutes smoking my weed behind the statue. 2 policemen come out. The sergeant sent out 2 subordinates to come out and question me about my cannabis. He says, are you New Jersey residents? I said, yes. He says, do you have a card? I said, yes. I showed him my card. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
No, good.
And that was
good.
it.
Yeah.
But I still had that 5-10 minutes of heart palpitations. I'm like, why'd I get a card? What am I doing? I spent $1,600 in this card. For what?
My point is, after Lefty doing this for how long he's done, there has to be something else added to it, or I still think we really need to make an overture to the State Attorney General's office, if that's the proper place, with some form of complaint that an individual has to do this, because all over our guidelines, most police stations are not aware of what they are yet. And Jersey City is an example of how it should work. It could work. And then the state police are an example of just the heavy-handed, say it with authority, and usually you'll get your way. But of course, Lefty then runs the risk of, when the authority figure demands something and he says, I know better and I'm going to do it anyway, arrest me if you have to, at some point that is going to happen. But it should be, this is not Lefty's job. It's not our job, really, frankly, to do this, and we have a lot of other things to do.
Whose job is it?
Well, it's this. I assume who sent out the guidelines first time, the Attorney General's office.
Attorney General, yeah.
Then it is his responsibility.
Let's go talk to him.
Have you shared any of your videos with the Attorney General?
I think we're going to have to at this point. I think it's time. Jim
but,
said,
I would consider doing it in a way that's like totally non-adversarial. The first, here's what we got. And that's why I think you could do an incredibly powerful 2-minute video.
Of how it's done or how not to do it?
No, I'm saying that you can, in other words, you don't want, necessarily go push the issue at the Attorney General's office, where can we smoke? But you don't even know. That's a good second. That's a good second visit. But, the front door is front door can be. You have what you need. There is no need to do anything the first interaction other than go an email, a registered letter, something that shows that they got it, and point out the problem. I would think a video of a couple of things gone south when you do this, and then maybe a Jersey City, here's how it should be, and that's the Attorney General could make the difference. The premise that you're doing it so patients don't get caught up in it who don't know that the police don't know what's going on, So the expose is part of it, but you are not the one to offer the solution. The police are, and, I think you might ask about why this is not part of their continuing education.
Yeah, some kind of summary of your experiences so far, Lefty, give credit where credit is due, and then point out the problems where the problems exist.
And that are not changing as the years roll by. How long have you done this? 1.5 years? 2 years?
No, it's like 3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah, so it's maybe not quite as bad as it was in the beginning, but there are moments that are every bit as bad and worse 3 years later.
Patterson.
6
years later, Patterson still is like, we're going to arrest you if you smoke marijuana outside. And even from the captain. And the chief was very condescending towards Carol, who's a terminally ill patient. She deserves a little compassion from these people. And the chief turned around to her and he says, are you done now? Oh, no, first he says, I wasn't talking to you. I'm not here to talk to you. And then she said, I'm sorry. He's like, are you done? That's not how police should be talking to sick people that need help. That's just, it's just disgusting.
Well, that one city alone is good enough to, write a letter to the Attorney General about.
Yeah. Verify it, and my suggestion was have that already up on YouTube, so when they find out, they also know that other people are able to see that at will. And that failure to address it means you know, that we get to have even more fun, if you call it fun.
You know, we had a problem here, Lefty, with the state police one year when we wanted to do a Cheryl Miller Memorial. In one June, we had 7 people here at the State House.
Yeah, it was 2013.
2013. We didn't get a permit, and you know, it was evening. It was evening. Nobody was here. There were 7 people here, and we were doing a memorial for Cheryl. And that state policeman came out and said, "No, you can't be here. You know, you have to leave." Or or the or was
under threat of arrest.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Sure.
Okay.
And you know, here we were. You know, we were all we weren't even dressed like you. You know.
Yeah.
What do you mean dressed like me?
You know what he means.
Well,
no, I don't.
Don't shoot on white shirts on and.
What, do you find that offensive?
No, he's laughing.
So, you know, I mean, we looked like what we were, which was middle-aged people. We had a mother here with 2 kids, and
Diane and her kids.
Diane.
Oh yeah. Who's in Colorado now because her son talked about hemp in school.
So anyway, I wrote a letter to the head of the state police, and the state police, and I wanted to know, did the rules change? You know, it says if there's 10 or more, you need a permit. And you can get an emergency permit even if you don't have one beforehand.
Yep.
And so, at any rate, the head of the state police wrote back, and he said that he would train his state policemen on the rules, and that the policeman the trooper who confronted us was wrong, and that he would let him know and educate him. And so it was handled. It was handled very nicely, very politely by all parties. And very successfully too. Sometimes just a very nice letter pointing out a problem, is the way to get it addressed too.
And in the future, after that, it happened maybe at least twice. Once when I was with Gene at the inauguration or whatever at the War Memorial, and there was some sort of confusion about where we couldn't be, just saying, well, listen, I thought Colonel Fuentes, commander of the state police, had already straightened this out. We had a problem in the past and got a very nice letter from him saying the problem had been rectified. Are you telling me that he hasn't rectified this problem? And it was just nice name dropping that we went through the front door and we got that kind of response, and it got, more credibility where they didn't want to push it. So. But it's there's a need to do both. I mean, I'm a big fan of trying the front door the first time and maybe knock on the side door the second time. But after that, shut your windows, man. Fortify the basement, whatever, because
here we come.
We're coming. But I've always in the past done that with a registered letter, so I can say that who it was that signed for it.
Right.
And that to me says you're aware whether it got to that person or not. So. But with the State Attorney General's office, the reason I like the connection now is we're still in a state of Christie looking like he's jockeying for, if Trump wins, to be the United States Attorney General. And my point is, if he can't keep his own Attorney General's office clean here, and if his own Attorney General that he finds himself satisfied with screwed up so bad on this, it looks like he might be doing it in deference to Christie and what he wants and doesn't want, which is, hey, isn't that how Bridgegate started? It kind of piles on unfairly, but, we got to pile on unfairly when we can. These cones are a lot of work, too. They really are. They don't just set themselves up,
So we're going to be at Lawrence Community Day on October 2nd, Sunday, October 2nd from noon to 4. Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey is going to have a table there, and Jim's going to bring the canopy.
Yes, I am.
And you know what I got?
Or arrange for it to be there if I still haven't checked my actual schedule, but I'm pretty sure that's a good day.
You know what I got? This very same day, a few hours, I guess, after I sent in the confirmation that we would attend at Lawrence Community Day, I got an invitation to appear at Hamilton Township's Oktoberfest, which is being held on the very same day.
Really? That's where we met the governor first time.
Yes, that's where well, you met the
candidate.
The gubernatorial candidate, Chris Christie there.
Along with Bill Burrini going on trial next month.
Yeah. So, at any rate, I guess we can't be in two places at the same time, so...
we probably could with a separate...
Unless we got enough volunteers for October 2nd. And I'm really not available that day myself. I have something long-term planned.
We got to pick one and, just be the one.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be Lawrence, because I already gave them said she'd be there. Mike Brennan's saying that he could just wait for confirmation from you. And so that's the two. I mean, you can really go with two, and if you come, that would be great.
Necessary is.
Nick Millis is also going to look into it. Nick said that it's his wedding anniversary on October 2nd.
Is that a good thing? I mean, I'm sorry, for some people it's not.
Well, he's still happily married, so
Okay.
he said he's going to have to wait and see with his wife about whether or not what they have planned for their wedding anniversary.
Well, she
So,
really,
but
if she
he's-
really loves him after all this time, she'll think that he should do this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. Not the way it works, but that's the way I see it. So, yeah, Governor, no signing yet. I did talk with Mike Crowitz yesterday because of his position as the director of Virginians for Medical Cannabis Access, VMCA.
Right.
I mean, Virginia Veterans. Sometimes I say Virginians. And he...
Mike was very active at the UN, too.
Yeah, he's
been
active
back
in
and forth to,
so many ways.
Vienna.
He has long-range plans that go out a decade where it comes to treaties and organizations. But this is also... He was very adamant about don't ever give in to the premise that there aren't enough studies with post-traumatic stress. You know, as we heard from the in the Senate Health Committee hearing with the head of the New Jersey Psychiatric Association going that route, and that he started to rattle off some things to me that sounded like what we need to be able to rattle off. We had kind of a different day here so far. I was going to try to get him on as a call-in guest, so he could talk about that. And basically what I want to do with him, whether it would be on the show or later on tonight, is I'm going to be the head of the Psychiatric Association and tell him what I think, and then he can respond. And I want to see if we can glean something, because the only thing the governor would possibly have to stand by would be that. And I'd like to take that away beforehand by saying we reject the premise that not enough studies have been done. There's more than enough that have been done, and that, of course, doesn't include the ones that have been blocked.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and then go on from there, because that's really going to be it. And we need to be ready to investigate the possibility of an override vote should he veto it.
Exactly. It looks like we have the votes.
We
you
do.
know, for
If
an override.
everybody that voted yes on an override, it'd be done with the votes we already have.
Right.
And then there's some fence sitters and those who didn't vote. In the past, people have not voted for an override in similar situations, but now that it's 16 months from having a new governor, I think there's more of a feeling of boldness, jumping ship, and watching out for your own butt in the legislative level. So I think there's going to be Republicans who would simply say, I voted yes the first time and I'm going to keep that vote. We get enough of that.
Yeah.
It could be an override.
Yeah, certainly hope so. If it comes to that, I hope that Governor Christie signs it.
Well, again, to protect his own butt, he's not stupid. I'm not going to say he's not stupid. I just don't like his calculating methods. But he certainly has to do the math, looking at the votes on these votes, or somebody in his administration does, and has to be telling him, Governor, there's a very real possibility of an override vote that where it's centered around veterans, this is the one that you could lose. So he wants to have his perfect, never been overridden status intact. He could just do the cowardly thing and not sign it, not veto it, and become law without his signature or consent.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and there are so many.
The lozenges, and now are they available yet from Compassionate Sciences? We understand they're supposed to be available very soon.
Yeah, not as of today.
Not as of today.
That we would know, and I think they would make that well known. Now, Compassionate Sciences is also the ones doing the seminar of sorts on PTSD and cannabis on the 27th, is it, of August? Later in August.
24, PTSD,
24th.
yeah, August 24th.
Yeah.
They're doing a seminar on PTSD, and they did one on. By the end of the 8/16, they were giving some on August the 16th. They were supposed to give a seminar on the lozenges and the topical creams that they're going to have available. Hopefully, they'll be available by then.
Yeah, I was
today's the 11th.
thinking it'd be nice at least. Are you going to attend the 24th seminar?
I'm not sure.
Belmar with a W is probably not that far away from here.
No, it's south.
Well, then I'm south too. That's probably very
it's
convenient.
Probably
Convenient for
closer
me
to
to
you.
go
Yeah, I
for.
think it's right outside of Camden.
Is this RSVP or just show up?
No, I think I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm Jim Miller. I show up, they'll let me in. Damn it.
But they're very nice. I mean, they post things on the Friends of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey Facebook page.
Yeah.
So that's very nice that they have taken an active interest. I think they're really the only. Well, Breakwater does too, but Breakwater and Compassionate Sciences, I believe, are the only two that really have an active presence on our Facebook page.
Well, it just makes good sense for them on so many levels.
Yeah, it's a good way for them to communicate with patients, to tell them about the products that they have available. Well, of course, that's how they got in trouble with Facebook, by offering marijuana sales on marijuana or discounts on marijuana, and Facebook freaked out and they dropped them from their Facebook pages. But they've since been restored, so Facebook got over it. Here it is, a program being run by overseen and really practically run by the Department of Health, and Facebook is taking them off Facebook.
Taking exception to that.
For thinking that they're dealing illegal drugs here. So, but anyway, they did work that out, and they do have their Facebook pages back, and they continue to post on our Facebook page and talk about the seminars that they give and the patient information that they give. I only wish they could convince the Department of Health, to conduct these seminars and information sessions on various aspects of the medicinal marijuana program.
Do they ask anybody to take part from the Department of Health? I mean, maybe they haven't asked. If they're going to have these seminars anyway, nothing wrong with throwing out an invite. See if the Department of Health wants to take some time. Anybody, could come out and do that. Mm-hmm. Again, making them refuse, because then they could say, well, they refuse to.
Well, explaining to all the patients how the lozenges or the topicals are going to work. I mean, right now it's patients are restricted to 2 ounces a month of flowers. So, what does that mean when lozenges come out? They can't be limited to 2 ounces of lozenges.
But they will have to have
90% of the
guidelines,
weight would be sucrose.
It's carrier weight.
Right. So I personally don't know, how it's going to work.
Well, they have a certain number of milligrams of THC in each lozenge. They could, I suppose, determine
10 milligrams. I understand. Yeah.
Then how many milligrams in 1 gram, as an example. In other words, they could come to a conclusion through the milligrams based on the 2 ounce per month limit. How many milligrams would that be? I don't know. It sounds like it may well be enough.
It's harder to translate the milligrams into.
That can work out two ways. It can work to help people keep the program smaller, but it can also work like with the 10% THC cap. That's not an effective cap. At first, it sounded like, well, what about the 18? Well, that's THC. THCA is allowed. So, basically, I'm hearing reports of some pretty quality medicine that would certainly be above what people would think would be a 10% cap. So maybe the ambiguity might work in the favor of patients as well. It really remains to be seen.
Typically, it doesn't work in the patient's favor in state-controlled programs. But this is the month for getting your petitions in to the Department of Health to add qualifying conditions. I'm personally working on one for osteoarthritis. I did some working with a fellow from Yardley, Pennsylvania, that I grew up with. We were in a Little League together here in Trenton, West End Little League, and he went on to become quite an athlete, and now he is suffering quite a bit. He has been through multiple surgeries because of the problems that he's had with osteoarthritis, and he's agreed to be the person to lead this petition. So I'm going to submit a letter in support of him as a healthcare professional, and he is going to be the lead petitioner for osteoarthritis. And so, we're making progress on that. And Drug Policy Alliance, of course, have said that they are going to take over the petitions for post-traumatic stress disorder and for chronic pain. So that really relieves us of the responsibility of taking on those two petitions. And because it is a lot of work, when you go to gather together all of the supporting studies that are required to be submitted with this, along with any letters from healthcare professionals and physicians in support of these petitions. It's a lot of work. And so we also have people working on migraine headaches, anxiety, autism, neuropathic pain. I don't know that we have anybody working on opioid recovery, addiction recovery. I know we talked about that at the meeting. I don't know if anybody has actually taken that on. Maybe Mike Brennan has said that he was interested in doing that.
And that runs right parallel, if not the exact same route as lowering the opioid overdose death rate through letting it be an adjunct medicine with opiates in states where cannabis is legal medicine.
Right.
That basically just saying we can't prescribe a higher level, we're afraid of potential addiction, therefore automatically kick in the possibility of cannabis as an adjunct medicine, not a replacement. It just based on that and the findings by the AMA that there's a 25% reduction in overdose death rate due to opioids, illegal and legal.
Yeah, you gotta go. All right, thank you, Leo.
That's a sizable amount.
How you doing?
I gotta go. All right, Leo. We'll see you later, man. Catch you on the rebound.
Maybe we could tell them to point their speakers in an opposite direction from. It looks like they're pointing right at us. Across the street, we have a little band outside the
that's the beauty of the headphones is though that's going to be picked up as ambient music. It won't sound as loud if you're on the receiving end there.
I hope so. Are they doing this every day now or just on Thursdays?
I don't know.
Oh, they took away our whole crowd.
Hijacked everybody.
That's all of our people.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back, Ken.
Now you're gonna leave.
You do know what a soliloquy is, don't you?
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, there is too much to talk about.
Well, the DEA said that they're not going to reschedule marijuana once again. Apparently, this is coming out just yesterday or today, but they did say that they are going to remove some of the barriers to marijuana research by ending the monopoly on the only legal supply of marijuana available for research purposes.
So did they say it like that? We're going to remove some barriers? Because, I mean, that is what they're doing.
Well, this is...
the point is these are barriers they maintained for decades now.
Right.
So they were the ones maintaining every attempt by somebody qualified. Now, Dr. Lyle
Craker from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, he tried for over a decade to get...
and he had all the qualifications. He had the certifications. He had everything necessary.
Yeah, he was a plant professor, right, and he had his approval from the Institutional Review Board at Amherst. He got FDA approval. He even got NIDA approval. He just could not get the DEA approval. They
maintained the monopoly.
Yeah, they came and inspected his place. He wanted to grow marijuana so that he could conduct his own clinical trials of marijuana. He said that the federal government supply of marijuana was inadequate. They just do not have enough marijuana of the exact same type to conduct large-scale clinical trials.
And they also admit it themselves in as much as saying when they deny somebody's application for cannabis that went through all the hoops, they'd say it's denied because it might jeopardize the supply for more legitimate study. I've read that's what they said in one case. So if they're saying it might jeopardize the supply for more legitimate study, they're admitting the supply is not enough.
Oh yeah. And the DEA judge agreed that and ruled that the federal government's supply of marijuana was inadequate to conduct these studies.
Yeah.
But of course, the administrator of the DEA overruled the DEA judge,
Yeah.
as the administrator can do in administrative law cases. So
that's where I first learned the word capricious. I understand arbitrary, but what is arbitrary and capricious?
Arbitrary, capricious, and unreasoning. That was what Judge Francis Young called the administrator's decision, anticipating the administrator's decision to overrule his decision to reschedule marijuana as a Schedule II drug.
It was that clear that it wasn't really. It wasn't a process designed for any real advancement or realization of anything, so that he could offer his rebuttal to what they hadn't even said yet. And he was right.
Right.
And so for it to still be saying there's no legit recognized medical use in the country, with all the states that have
25 states and D.C. now have medical marijuana programs. And yet the federal government refuses to acknowledge that there are accepted medical uses for marijuana in the United States. You know, it really is like the Alice in Wonderland world of drug policy when you talk about marijuana policy, Jim.
And
makes no sense whatsoever.
And while we're sitting here relatively pain-free, I'm always drawn to what about the patients who are suffering minute to minute? How can they possibly make sense of this?
Right.
Especially when I break it down, and for those who are legal, Karen was talking about she's opioid free, but also cannabis free right now because she can't afford it. She does not have the money for it. And then, you know, I did the calculations for her, and she said that actually is pretty close. How often she would run out each month, you know, at the 2-week point or something. And explained to her that the tax then would cost her 7% more medicine. Having paid sales tax, that took away medicine from her, that the sales tax is partially responsible. But then to explain that for each hour of her pain, the state benefits through the sales tax because they created 7% less medicine. Having that is worth 50 cents to the state. It's not even a money maker really where it's going to help balance anything in the state. Did we not have somebody put forth an idea that at least the sales tax should go towards benefiting the program in some way, not just into the general fund?
Yeah.
But we couldn't even get that.
No, so that's not part of the law. The sales tax just goes to the general fund, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, just one other point that you talked earlier about the DEA saying, well, we can't let these studies go through because then we wouldn't have enough marijuana for other studies.
Yeah.
Now, the other studies that they do approve are the studies that look for harms associated with marijuana.
Yeah.
You know, they do not. NIDA, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, does not fund studies and approve studies that look for benefits of marijuana.
Yep.
That is not their mission. They're the National Institute on Drug Abuse. They're not the National Institute on drug reform or medical marijuana.
Dr. Ethan Russo, a neurologist from Missoula, Montana, proved that by being turned down for a test involving migraine headaches. And it might have been 9 people in the study group. It was not a large number. And they turned him down. He waited a sufficient period of time and applied to do the same thing under the premise that it would hurt people with migraines, and he was granted the marijuana for that study. Now, the study showed otherwise, but it's such a small group, it didn't run the risk of becoming proof. But I accessed something called the CRISP files. It's an acronym. Some years ago, computer paper. Remember what computer paper was like? You know, it come out reams.
Sure.
Yeah, it was maybe about 5 inches stack of money and cannabis and what it was released for. Do you know that while they were denying all the tests they deny, that they did grant cannabis to study if it would affect the mating habits of the sperm whale? And I have it there. That's the premise, and they said okay to that. Wow. I mean, them whales are a powerful lobby, I guess. I don't know.
So we have Erica Gale Brown, isn't here? Yes. Erica Gale Brown from the Cannabis Project. And Erica, I have to tell you how much I really enjoy your cannabis project. How thrilled I was to see the photo that you took of me with my little saying about why we must legalize cannabis.
Sorry.
So, you know, I mean, it got so many shares. I can't tell you how many shares it got.
Really did. It was a really good message that you had, too. You kind of like put everything all in one chalkboard.
I said the reason to legalize cannabis is it's the best way to get the right medicine to the most people.
Right.
And
yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
So true. I think a lot of people it's resonated with a lot of people. You know. So yeah.
So,
yeah, but it's cool to you know, get everybody's different perspective on it and personalize it a little bit. You know, humanize it, I guess.
Right.
Ken, I missed. Did you introduce our guest?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was preoccupied.
Erica Carol Brown from the Cannabis Project.
I love this project.
Yeah, it's great. It really is great. You have to check it out. It's all over Facebook.
I saw yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Very handsome, Ken.
Yeah, I really like his. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, you can check it out on Facebook. Just look up the Cannabis Project. You can also check it out on thecannabisproject.net. It's on Instagram. It's the.cannabis.project.
How did you start this project? What made you start this?
What made me start it? I'm a patient myself. You know, being treated for Crohn's disease is one of the things. Well, that's why I qualify for it, should I say.
Right.
And just my experience as a patient led me to doing this, you know. These are real people that these stupid laws are affecting. And, you know, I kind of wanted to just show different perspectives of that. And if people who may not even be aware of cannabis and its beneficial qualities, or however you want to word it, they might take a picture and their family might see it, or, you know, people that may have never seen it before might see it and be introduced and wake up a little bit. But, yeah.
You would hope.
Yeah, that's the hope anyway. So.
I mean, it's very powerful images here.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, a lot of the patients have powerful things to say and are facing, you know, serious struggles that affect their life, like literally their life. So, yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for everybody that's a part of it and willing to be a part of it. If there's anybody out there that would like to be photographed, you can send me a message on Facebook. Just search me, Erica Gale Brown. Or you can just message the Cannabis Project. You can also contact through the website. But yeah, I'd like to have as many people as possible participate and raise awareness for medical, spiritual, social, and industrial uses, you know?
Yeah, excellent. And people get a chance to think about what they want to say, what message they want to put out on this little board.
Right. What would you most want to say to the world about cannabis?
What do you most want to say to the world about cannabis?
Right.
Lefty, what do you want to say?
Well, I'm going to talk about how I have to educate the police on the Kuma guidelines and how we have to do our podcast out here to educate our government, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is also really great that you do. I love the police stations because, I mean, if you didn't go around doing that, who knows how long it would take. You know what I mean?
It's sad.
It's got to fit on a small chalkboard.
Yeah, mine might be 2 chalkboards. I might need 2. Or big ones, the big school board.
A big school board.
I got a picture today of Ed and Leo that, you know, hopefully will be a good one. They're both veterans.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I mean, PTSD, clearly
Great.
serious. Yeah,
But yeah, 1 in 10 patients died last year. So it's not a good group to be in. I would say congratulations on your card, but, you know, welcome to the failed program.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
really.
I know. Some people are like, oh, you're so lucky. And I'm like,
No.
well, A, you have to have something ridiculous to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And B, it's not a good program to treat it. So.
And C, it's going to send you to the poorhouse, you know.
Right, yeah, exactly. I can't
almost.
afford my medicine.
Right.
Like, are you kidding?
Right.
I mean, no, it would cost me, well, you know, the limit is, 2 ounces or whatever. That's what I have. I guess it would cost about $1,100 a month, but that wouldn't even cover the treatment that I need. That's not enough bud.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So.
And
that probably applies to most people.
Especially if you want to eat it, you know. That's, I mean.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I would want to use like the oil and edibles.
Make it into an oil.
Right. Instead of smoking it all the time. But our time will come.
What dispensary do you go to?
I go back and forth between Belmar and Compassionate Care Foundation in Egg Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which do you like better?
I definitely like. I like different things about them. Compassionate Care Foundation seems to be cheaper and more affordable for me. particularly because they have the shake available.
Okay.
But Compassionate Sciences is so informative and educational and helpful, and I really feel like a patient when I go there, and they just want to help you. They want to help the program.
Yeah, we were just talking about their program on PTSD coming up on August 24th, and they have another one on tinctures and creams on August 16th.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're doing great outreach for
I
their
love that they
patient
do that stuff.
population.
I've noticed. I've been to Compassionate Care Foundation the past couple times, and I noticed that they're starting to do a lot more stuff like that as well. So that's good. That's good. The more education, out there, the better.
Did you buy their shake? Have you used their shake at all?
Yeah.
Is it good shake, or is it little buds, or is it like leaves? Is it bad?
It's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's okay.
I've gotten shake.
It's what I can afford too, so I'm not beggars can't be choosy,
Is it little buds though, little pieces of buds, or is it actual leaves and?
It's pretty it's pretty small. It's pretty ground up. Pretty, yeah.
We could do better. Yeah. I just think we could do so much better, man.
Yeah, I mean you can. I mean
so much of the program can be improved.
Yeah, I've had the shake. I tried to save money and buy shake one time, and I couldn't use it. It was just horrible for me.
Well, I definitely feel like I would get better, medicinal use out of bud for sure. I wouldn't prefer that at all.
No, but if that's what you can afford, I understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. I think probably a lot of us are, because it's ridiculous. And on top of it, it's a plant. Are you kidding? I can grow it in my backyard or in my basement.
Yeah, that's what we had in the original bill too.
Yeah, that's what
6
Lefty was
plants.
saying.
Patients would be allowed to grow 6 plants each, and to grow your own medicine, to titrate it to control your symptoms. It really puts you back in charge of your condition.
Right. Yeah.
It really is so empowering
that connection with your medicine.
Right.
I think that's a lot too.
It is. It's therapeutic just to grow.
Right.
Just to grow the plant.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're definitely fighting for that. When legalization happens in New Jersey, we definitely want it to include home cultivation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, we see here in Trenton, you see it too, Ken. Every week in Trenton, somebody walks up here with a story. A poor person from Trenton, in a wheelchair or in a walker, with a horrible story about how they can't afford to even basically eat, and how they need medicine like cannabis to help them, and they can't even afford to get cannabis, even off the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, wow, well, you can grow it, but it's...
Right.
What are you risking then,
Yeah, you're risking losing your house.
Right. Your freedom.
Yeah, and your freedom. And all your property and money confiscated.
I know. If it wasn't such a big risk, I would be doing it already.
Yeah, like Carol Millman. Remember Carol? Remember her story in Lodi? She was a card-holding patient in Lodi. The police kicked in her door. They took her cannabis. They took her money. They took her they took her computer, her car. She lost her house. She lost her job. And then they're like, okay, now fight us to get your stuff back. There you go. Here's nothing. Now fight us with your terminal illness.
Yeah.
So they double and triple victimized her, and then said, okay, fight us.
Right.
But she fought them and she won. She
Good.
walked out of there with all her bongs back. She got about 10, 15 bongs back in a box. We made a video walking out of that police station.
Yeah, but what an ordeal to put her through.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
come on, man.
Maybe they can buy her some cannabis from the PTSD she's going to suffer from, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
We can do better.
Yep.
Did she think about suing?
Well, she pled guilty. She pled guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Because they force you. They take all your stuff away. And she didn't know what to do.
Back into a corner.
Just like the guy in Bayonne. The guy in Bayonne, I found out, he was smoking weed in a park, a card holder, and he got arrested, and he pled guilty to some offense. All he had to do was pay the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
It was a smoking ticket. There's no crime.
Right.
Smoking in a park. It's not a crime. It's smoking over the border. Okay, you get a ticket.
Yeah.
A $200 ticket for violating the Clean Air Act. It's not a marijuana charge.
Right.
But that patient in Bayonne a few years ago, he pled out to that when he should have just gotten a desk ticket.
Yeah.
Which is, patients shouldn't have to go through this. Patients shouldn't have to know every aspect of the law. That's the police's job.
Right.
That's their job.
Right.
Why do we have to be educating the police on their job?
Yeah. When I believe y'all went to Trenton Police Station.
Yeah.
When they were basically, well, you're just going to have to go to court and then figure it out. Oh, really? You're going to put the patient through all that because you can't figure out what your job is?
Tell it to the judge.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if you make it that long, if I can get there in a wheelchair. Some
Right.
some patients have beds to be pushed around in. I mean, okay, push this woman in a bed to go prove that she's sick.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. America.
It's crazy.
America.
It is crazy, that's for sure.
I never heard of such shit.
That's why that cannabis project is so good. It's, I mean, first of all, you're a great photographer.
Thank you.
So, that really helps. It makes it a very attractive thing that you're doing. You do it in attractive settings. It really is very eye-opening and very compelling project that you're doing,
Yeah.
Erica. And I really want to congratulate you on
stuff.
that. My girlfriend called me this morning and just was, whoa, I just saw this.
You look so hot, Ken. Come home early tonight, dear.
That's awesome. That's cool. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad that, it's,
Good stuff.
all that good stuff.
So, how long are you gonna keep going?
I'm just gonna keep on doing it. It's just gonna be an ongoing thing.
There's no end, really.
Yeah.
You'll find it out real quick. It's just gonna keep going and going. The misery and the sickness and the suffering never ends.
That's a trick
unfortunately.
question. I heard it from over there. How long are you going to keep doing this?
Good answer.
I thought we were done in 2010.
Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah.
I feel almost responsible because when we had that final vote, I came out and realized how long I'd been coming here by that time. And I gave Trenton a big goodbye, see you later, sucker. I'm done with you. And I've been here so many more times after that now than I ever was before.
We were just getting started in 2010.
Yeah, that was the real work.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're like gatekeepers now, is all we really are,
Y'all are doing a good job out here. Y'all raised a lot of awareness and clearly.
We're wearing
more
them
than
down,
that.
I think. We're wearing them down.
Yeah, wearing them down, yeah.
Yeah, and then, with Vice, I guess, was that the Vice TV crew, Edward?
Oh, that was Vice TV.
Yes, Vice TV was here.
Vice Land or whatever.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes,
I love Vice.
it is.
They're always.
They have some pretty good shows, and
Yeah.
this is right up their wheelhouse too. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
This is that song. It's not in my head, is it?
Not yet.
No,
No,
I mean-
I'm not playing it. No, I'm not playing anything. There's no music on, Jim. What's the matter? You okay?
It stays with me an average a day and a half. It'll pop up in the middle of nowhere,
I love this song. This is for our sponsor.
I'm just giving into it.
You want to sing with me, Jim?
No, maybe.
Magical butter makes your recipes better. Be dialing.
How does it do that?
Okay, what we need to do is when we do our moment of silence, can we get them to do a moment of silence with us? Not yet, Cleo.
Not yet.
But yeah, because it is kind of important. Because this week we're saying goodbye to Randy Robertson. I don't know if you all know who Randy Robertson was, but amazing activist from Pennsylvania. And he lost his battle with cancer. He had every organ of his body ripped out of him, called the Whipple procedure. You've heard the video. You've seen his testimony.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
I'm teary-eyed every time I watch it because he had the Whipple procedure where they rip out your spleen, your gallbladder, your pancreas, your lung.
And let's just say the guy had
stomach.
some guitar skills, too.
And he rocked. He was such a good guy. Took care of his family. Was more worried about his family than himself. And he died on Friday. And man, he inspired me. I know that.
One more person to remember in the Ode to Remembrance.
He's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's a Pennsylvania patient. Fought to get the law.
Activist over in PA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad. I did see where he passed away. I didn't know him.
I didn't know him really, but
I didn't know him either, but I knew him from that video. That's all it took for me.
I didn't see the video either.
Yeah. No, tell me again.
You want to hear it? I was just playing it before. He talked about his Whipple procedure and how cannabis helped him. A friend showed up at his door with oil and said, "I heard you need the oil." He's like, "What? Magic shit." That's what he said. Magic shit. Okay. And this person gave him the oil, and he actually improved for months and months and months and got better. And I really thought he was going to beat this cancer, but he was too far gone. He had the Whipple procedure. I mean, when you have something like that done before you exhaust cannabis options, I don't know. It's like having brain surgery before you have cannabis. It's like, I don't get it.
Right, yeah, same.
How much is the Whipple procedure? I wonder how much money they made off that.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah. I know why they did that first now. Okay.
Right, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Duh.
That's usually what it goes back to.
Wow. So yeah, Randy Robertson, you're the man. Thank you. Well, I'll try to do the commercial. Whoa, good save. I just saved our Bluetooth, which is not working anyway.
Whoa, why is it so loud? Can you hear me? Whoa, I hear myself talking on the speakers. It's really weird.
Okay.
I'm not holding a
What's
mic.
going on?
Just, I have to wave my arms when we're ready for the moment of silence.
Oh yeah, we're ready. We're pretty much ready. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Do you want to do the before you
Yeah.
do that? You do the. Let's do the.
Yeah, the
before that, I
magicalbutter.com.
want to do the acknowledgements first.
Yeah, I need like 5 minutes of quiet from them, but that's all right. We'll take whatever we can get at this point. But okay, then wave your arms. Let's do this. Magical butter makes your recipes better. Brownies, cookies, smoothies, sauces, soups, veggies, candies, salad dressings,
And more. Much more. Salad dressings and seafood. Marinades. Meat.
Don't you like tossed salad?
Beverages. No.
Butter, tincture, peanut oil, corn, olive, coconut, sunflower, grapeseed, avocado, much more. Get your Magical Butter machine from magicalbutter.com or call 800-420-4334, 1-800-420-4334.
And it does have exclusive technology. That means nobody else has it.
That's right. Eat the tree.
I hear all, seriously, I hear all good things. I hear all
Eat
good
the
things. I hear you can make a better butter and tincture.
Better butter?
Yeah, you can infuse cannabis with many kinds of oils.
Jim, when you made tincture for Cheryl,
Yeah.
how did you make the tincture for Cheryl? Like a double boiler, your whole process? Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a double boiler. It was a smaller pot floating in a big pot of water.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Marie, what's that called? Ben Marie or Bain Marie?
Bain Marie.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever used the magical butter?
I love the magical butter machine. I wonder if this would have helped you in Cheryl.
Oh, immensely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I mean, I'd even go so far as when I made it, I'd put it, or if I made butter, I'd put it in capsules so she could actually take it like a pill.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do with
Yeah, we were
coconut oil.
we were on a Delphia cable TV show like 20 years ago, showing look, a little capsules of green butter. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Also want to thank medical-freedom.com and Joan Ford's book coming out next month called The Falling Sickness, From Caesar to Me. Medical-freedom.com. Get your State of Compassion flag from medical-freedom.com. JacksonStorms.com. DavidVersusAutism.org. CMMNJ.org, which is the Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey. The reason why we could smoke cannabis across the street is because of Jim Miller, Cheryl Miller, Ken Wolski, and the Coalition. Thank you, guys.
None of us ever got to do that legally ourselves.
Yeah, you and Ken can't even smoke, but thanks anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's a qualification I wouldn't exactly use as a premise.
Legally.
Yeah, legally, yes. Got a disclaimer.
So Jenny's Purple Ribbon Journey, Jenna's Journey, Tuffy's Fight, Legalized for Lorelei, and we come to the part of the show where we talk about our refugees, Vivian Wilson, Diane, Sarah, Jax, Claudia, all people who had to leave our state to get
And a guy, I don't know his name, I'd like to, but I thought it was very poignant when he said, please, I hope this post-traumatic stress bill passes. I lived in Pennsauken. He was in New Mexico, I think now, where he can get his PTSD treated. And what he said is, please, so I can come back. I miss Wawa.
Yeah.
I miss
that's
Porco.
right.
I mean, and it was somebody, I miss Wawa.
of all things.
Yeah, of all reasons to want to bother coming back to this.
Well, you just want to be at home. You know?
That's at home, exactly. So, there's a lot.
So we added a new name to our list, which really frickin' sucks. I hate this list. I love the people on this list. Well, we added Chad, and now we have to add Randy Robertson to this list.
The list grows.
This list sucks. I don't even know what to say, man. Randy inspired me, and I really thought he was going to beat this cancer, and he didn't. But he did manage to inspire many and help with this fight a lot.
And we do remember these people who have passed before it was their time, before the medicine was legal, or in Randy's case, just came too late. And we do that by reciting the fourth verse to the Ode to Remembrance, which was written to honor and memorialize those who died during World War I. There's different versions, New Zealand's, Australians, Americans, British. But one version is written in stone over the entry into the War Memorial Auditorium. And we recited this for a year before we knew that it was written in stone around the corner.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, so we like to remember those, not particularly from World War I, but a whole different kind of war, one they were all drafted into.
Yeah. And this is dedicated to Sabina Rose, the 15-month-old who died from a 25-hour seizure, waiting for her card. This is for Joan Ford, who did not get access. For Cheryl Miller, who did not get legal access. Diane Ripatella, Gracie, Marie, Cindy Mae, and Chad and Randy. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.